So far, a little bit of a slowdown on the northeast side, eastbound 465, Allisonville 269, and then a bit of a drag on the southeast side, southbound 465, Brookville to South Shaylin. There's a crash, Shelby at Sumner Avenue, and another one on the south side, Greenwood, US 31 at County Line. Traffic is sponsored by Fresh Time Market. This week at Fresh Time Market, save on a full dry pint of blueberries, just $1.99 now through January 24th. Get real. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Hammer and Nigel are talking to Wish TV's Marcus Bailey about the forecast coming up next. I'm Harrison Silcox, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
On 93 WIBC.
So let's rock it!
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there, and we are getting ready to get into the thick of it. Anywhere from 4 to 12 inches of snow expected to fall. A winter storm that's going to arrive in central Indy by late tonight.
So you look out the window now and you think,
beautiful.
Man, there's no way we're going to get this much weather. There's no way that much snow is going to fall. I'm telling you, by the time tomorrow rolls around, it's going to look vastly different. So here's what we are anticipating. Throughout the course of the evening tonight, conditions will start to get a little dicey. Now, we should be good for the afternoon drive tonight.
Right.
But later in the evening, if you know somebody that works maybe that second shift, or perhaps they're going in for third shift, this is where you're really going to start to notice things. The snow will start to come down. It won't stick right away. But once we kind of get into the prime of this weather system here, you could be getting up to 1, maybe 1.5 to 2 inches per hour. That's going to stick, which means that the road conditions tomorrow are going to be absolutely brutal. Now, Matt Bear, if you're standing by in the WIBC Traffic Center, let's get you in the conversation.
Yo.
Matt, what time do you plan to get to the big show tomorrow?
I'm thinking this. Myself, I'll probably be here about 5 a.m. looking things over. And then after that, the snow is going to be down. Tomorrow's rush hour is basically like this in my 6 years experience. Either everybody stays home, we don't have a rush hour, or everybody goes to work and we have bedlam. And I'm going to tell you, this morning was bad. If we had no snow on the roads, we had problems with ice. We had problems with ice yesterday afternoon. It shut down 86 at Georgetown. It was a mess. But basically what happens is either we go to work or we don't, and that's going to determine what rush hour is like tomorrow morning.
So what tips would you have for somebody that has to get up and go to work tomorrow? There's a lot of people where I don't care what's going on, they're expected to be at work. What tips, what advice would you pass along?
Well, first off, pack a bag. And I know it sounds crazy, but pack a bag in case you get stranded in the cold and in the snow. You know, have some protein or something like that, a flashlight, all the essentials, a blanket, and everything else. Secondly, as soon as, I'm going to sound crazy, as soon as you see snow falling out of the sky, turn your headlights on. Because that protects yourself. I know a lot of times we're like, oh, I don't care about the... No, that protects you. I always have my headlights on when it's snowing or raining just because it's a black card. I want people to see me. So turn your headlights on. Leave distance. When I'm driving in the snow, stay away from me. Okay, I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to allow plenty of distance between me and the person in front of you. And watch those bridges. Man, I have bridges on the mind right now just because it was so bad this morning and yesterday. Ice on those bridges just caused a complete carpocalypse, and it was ugly. So, yeah, lights on, pack a bag, plenty of distance, leave early, just common sense sorts of things as you make your way through rush hour tomorrow morning, if you have to make your way through rush hour tomorrow morning.
As of Tuesday morning, earlier this morning, the winter storm warning is supposed to expire by 7 o'clock tomorrow night. So, obviously, from a travel standpoint, we all need to be prepared. The National Weather Service, it is saying this thing is going to encompass portions of the entire state. Knox County all the way up to Steuben County, as far north as South Bend, all the way down to Bloomington and Washington. And again, like we've mentioned before, that mysterious I-70 corridor, maybe on the north side of Indianapolis up to the north in places like Kokomo, Lafayette, Crawfordsville, stretching east of Fort Wayne from there. This is from the National Weather Service. Says it's saying possible. I mean, some areas are going to get up to a foot of snow. Most of the state get closer to around 4 inches, Hammer.
And we will try to connect with Wish TV's Marcus Bailey coming up here in just a moment. But one of the things that I think everybody needs to understand, when you see a snowplow truck on the road, when you see a salt truck on the road, and I can't stress this enough, get the hell out of its way. Let it do its job. You're laughing, Matt, but we hear these stories all the time.
Yeah,
I know you do.
And we hear them from the snowplow drivers.
Right.
Those are the ones that are stating the obvious. You wouldn't think you'd have to say that out loud, but you do.
And Matt, I mean, when you're in the traffic center, you're looking at things that are causing problems on the roads. The snowplow trucks, let's be honest, we should be thanking our lucky stars they're even out considering who our mayor is. You have to give them the room, right?
Yeah, these guys work their butts off, man, and they are in hazardous conditions just like us, and they're just trying to make a buck and do their job. So, yeah, if you can allow them plenty of room, and that would be awesome. It's not their fault that it's snowing, and it's not their fault that the roads are going to be bad, for sure. I will say this sun is freaking me out a little bit because a lot of times it gives us a little false sense of security. You know, I think we might be going through that because I was out and about during the midday and people are already acting like idiots sometimes. And I do the same thing. I know that. But the sun, don't let that lure you into, like you reiterating what you said earlier, Hammer, it's going to be bad tomorrow morning.
All right, Matt, we'll touch base with you again here in just a little bit. Right now, let's go to the drivehubler.com hotline and bring on Marcus Bailey.
We're going to put Marcus to work.
Meteorologist for Wish TV. So, Marcus, what we're hearing is that afternoon drive, the commute home tonight, into the evening hours, we should be okay. But late night tonight into the overnight, that's where things start to take a turn. Is that correct?
Yes, that's 100% correct, Hammer. And it's going to turn in a hurry. So, yeah, to what you just mentioned, there's no issues for the evening drive. I believe the Pacers are playing tonight at home. You should be okay if you're heading to the field house tonight. No issues there. So the timeline is basically, it's pretty similar when we talked yesterday here. It's after midnight. We're going to see this precip arrive. And honestly, it could start briefly as rain. I mean, if you've been outside recently, it's a pretty nice day, right? I mean, it's sunny, we're upper 30s. It's not bad, so we're above freezing. And so we may briefly start this as rain, but I think we'll flip the switch pretty quickly in that 2, 3, 4 o'clock hour overnight. And something to keep in mind here, guys, is I think the snow that we're going to get is going to come in a couple of ways. We're going to get a kind of a thump overnight where we could get a few inches of snowfall, heavy, wet snow. And then I think, probably in like that 6 and 7 o'clock hour, we may catch a little bit of a lull. And I use that in quotation marks because I think we're still going to have kind of some sleet and maybe some mixing of rain and snow. And then as we get into the mid to late morning, we'll get wave number 2, and that's where you get more accumulation. So this is going to be kind of an overnight and morning event where things are going to get pretty difficult.
Wow, so even obviously the morning drive is going to be brutal, but even Hammer and I get to work generally around 10 or 11 in the morning. It still might be a bit hazardous.
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so. At least with so the way I see it, Nigel, is I see it. You're going to have snow all day. The heaviest of the snow, though, is going to be overnight in that first wave until around probably 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. And then it lightens up. I won't say it completely shuts down during, for early commuters in that 6, 7, 8 o'clock window, but it lightens up a little bit. Roads are going to be pretty tough because of the accumulation already on the ground. And then wave number 2 kind of hits, and that's where you're going to get a few more inches, probably through lunchtime or early afternoon, and then we'll lighten it up a little bit more as we get closer to the evening drive. But I think the evening drive is probably going to be rough. I don't think it'll be as bad as the morning commute because it won't be quite as heavy of snow or snowfall rates, if you will. But both commutes, I think both tomorrow are going to be difficult. Wednesday morning is just going to be a little bit worse because of the heavy rates of snow.
Marcus, one more thing here. About what time of the night are we going to see the peak of this storm, the hardest, heaviest snow coming down?
Yeah, well, again, so I think you get it in 2 punches here. And so I think the heart of this first wave is probably going to be in that, 3, 4 a.m., 5 a.m. window, where it's going to be, you could be talking around an inch, and in extreme cases, maybe 2 inches per hour. So it's going to be coming down at a pretty good clip. And then the second wave, I think you're probably looking between like 9 and noon or 9 and 1 p.m. All right. And that's 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So, a couple of ways, but those are the two where, travel is going to be pretty difficult because you're already going to have snow on the ground, but then you're going to have some pretty heavy rates of snow making visibilities tough. It's just already piling up. So those are kind of the two time frames you got to be aware of.
Any chance, Marcus, we're going to wake up in the morning and be like, oh, this wasn't so bad after all? It has happened before.
Oh, it absolutely has. Absolutely has.
I'm not saying anything about your abilities as a meteorologist. You know what I mean. I'm not trying to insult anybody.
But here comes a but.
No.
Hey, listen. I've been there, and I've been the butt of many of jokes when I come to that scenario. And I get up at 2 a.m. I look outside, and I'm like, oh crap. There's a lot of grass out there, and no snow. Is there a possibility? Sure. We feel pretty confident that we're going to flip that switch. There's still some question to mixing and when that occurs and how far north. I do think that there's a possibility. This would be an extreme example. I'm not, saying this is exactly how it plays out, but, I think that it could be a situation where, somewhere in the metro, say up in Carmel or, up in Westfield, you get maybe 6 or 7 inches, and not that far south in the metro around Franklin, you get maybe 2 or 3 inches. There's going to be a pretty sharp cutoff from a lot of snow to, a little bit. But I do feel pretty confident that around the metro, it's still going to be pretty rough. And we've been trying to drive it home. Doesn't matter how much you get. If you're getting snow in the morning drive, it makes for some messy travel here. And that's what you got to be aware of tomorrow morning.
All right, Marcus Bailey, meteorologist for WISH TV. Marcus, we're going to be leaning on you. We'll hear from you a couple times between now and the next 24 hours, my friend. We appreciate you helping us out.
Thanks, Marcus.
Always happy to help. Thanks, guys.
All right, Matt Bear, this literally is the calm before the storm. How are we looking?
Beautiful day so far, and a couple of slowdowns. Eastbound 465 slows, Keystone Avenue over to 69. Inbound 65, a little bit tight. West to Meridian Penn. And a crash, Shelby Street at Sumner Avenue. Traffic sponsored by Fresh Time Market. At Fresh Time Market this week, save on certified Angus beef boneless New York strips, sold whole in bag, just $5.99 a pound. Now through January 24th. Get real. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
I'm going to be real mad because I'm going to go home and salt as soon as I get home tonight. Sidewalk, driveway. I'm a pre-salter.
I'm a
pre-salter, but if there's going to be, like, if Marcus said might start out as a little bit of rain and wash some of that stuff off, oh boy. It's going to be trouble in the Nigel household tomorrow.
So here is your forecast. Right now, 43 degrees at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. Coming up later, white death. So get your bread, get your milk, get ready, kids. Put your big boy pants on. Hang out here at 93 WIBC. We'll keep you up to date.
We filmed the show in Muncie, Indiana.
A painter with a perm who became a pop culture icon.
Hello, I'm Bob Ross. I'd like to welcome you to the joy of painting.
What you saw on TV is that's what he was in real life.
And because his heart really was to love the people of Indiana.
You're invited on a tour through the past with the memories and moments from the Hoosiers who made the joy of painting possible.
And we all became friends with Bob.
The Joy of Muncie, Bob Ross in Indiana. Thursday at 7.
A B-Window $2,000 energy-saving credit plus federal tax credit and sale prices on windows, siding, and doors. No payments and no interest for 22 months.
5.5%. Where can you get 5.5% on your money today? You're certainly not going to get it at the bank. And who knows what will happen next with the stock market. But for a limited time, you can get 5.5% guaranteed for 3 years. That's right. You can get 5.5% on your money guaranteed for 3 years. And it's backed by some of the largest, most trusted insurance companies in the world. To learn more, call Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy, at 317-972-9172. This is your chance to lock in a great interest rate before they start falling. Learn how you could get 5.5% on your money, guaranteed for 3 years. Call 317-972-9172. 317-972-9172.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 38,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
What's it like having next-gen supersonic Wi-Fi from Xfinity? Well, it's ready for major gig speeds, so it's fast, like riding a cheetah fast. And with 3 times the bandwidth, the gaming never has to end. Plus, Xfinity supersonic Wi-Fi has the power you need to connect hundreds of devices at the same time. Unbeatable internet from Xfinity. Made to do anything so you can do anything.
Learn more about our next generation Wi-Fi technology from Xfinity to do more of what you love online. Or now through February 21st, new customers can get started with 75 megabits per second internet for only $20 a month for 12 months. Plus, there's no annual contract required, so it's risk-free. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
93 WIBC. Winter storm.
Upgraded the winter storm watch to winter storm warnings.
Arriving late tonight and last through tomorrow.
We're going to get significant snowfall accumulation.
I-70 corridor and points north of that. Hear the news.
Another mass shooting in California.
It's a tragedy that we hear about far too often.
Another update is just minutes away.
The FBI was invited into the president's home.
This really needs to be investigated
in a neutral, non-partisan manner.
93 WIBC and WIBC.com. You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
Happy National Peanut Butter Day.
Yeah,
seriously,
baby.
It's a thing. It's National Peanut Butter Day. My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is there, always keeping an eye on the incoming weather. We'll have another update for you very soon, but right now, I probably wouldn't even mention National Peanut Butter Day if Hard Truth Distilling Company didn't drop off a bottle of their peanut butter whiskey.
Oh, baby. Shout out to our friend Susan Decker, who is the best in the business. Like, if you're not doing promotions and marketing with her, you clearly don't like money and results. But she's the one behind this little gift that was brought up here, Nige.
Yeah. First of all, this is a distillery. I need to go down and check out Hard Truth in Brown County. Handcrafted in Brown County. I'm going to crack open this.
Crack that bad boy open here.
So it's peanut butter whiskey. It's
peanut butter whiskey. And it's got the cork in there. Oh, there we go. Nothing says, let's get ready to hunker down for a winter storm like hearing that sound. I like it.
You know, here's the funny thing about Hammer is he brought in these whiskey ice trays. He keeps them in the refrigerator in the kitchen. So when I say whiskey ice cube trays, it means it's not just a regular ice cube. It's a big block.
Right.
It's a big block that you can pour your whiskey over. So
I'm going to come around and grab one.
Yeah, here I'm going to pour one for James. You want one, man? All right. So there's yours. Take James. So we'll do a little Whiskey Tuesday here. In honor of National Peanut Butter Day, Hard Truth Distilling Company, peanut butter whiskey.
All right, on a count of 3,
Cheers.
everybody makes a big cheers. 1, 2, 3, cheers.
Are you kidding me?
That tastes like candy. Oh, man.
This tastes like I could put it on bread. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. For my lunch tomorrow, I'm going to put regular jelly and just pour this and soak it in my bread.
You guys said bread and milk. You didn't say what I could put on the bread. James,
wow.
What do you think, my man?
That's really good. It tastes a little bit like coffee almost.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
Just so good.
That's what you would do. Sprinkle a little bit in your coffee.
Hard Truth's peanut butter whiskey.
In terms of regular peanut butter, you people that like the crunchy stuff, like the regular peanut butter with the nuts and stuff, the physical nuts in there, are psychos. Very very gross. Just give me some creamy Jif. You know what I mean? And even the organic peanut butter, like the natural peanut butter, it looks like runny diarrhea.
It does. There's a lot of fluids on that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want fluids in my peanut butter. Let me say that again. I don't want fluids on my peanut butter.
Okay, 18 cheapest places to travel in 2023. Its website Kayak has compiled a list of the cheapest places that you could go in 2023.
New Palestine, Indiana.
Well, yeah, that's one of them. It's based on the list of flight and hotel prices, the most clicked destinations on the web, travel restrictions, security, blah, 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 blah. So, half of these places I wouldn't want to go to. Like Houston, Texas is the cheapest place to go to.
Really?
In America right now. But who wants to go to Houston, Texas?
Who's getting the family around and say, you know what? Dreams come true. This is the year we go to H-Town.
Los Angeles. Right, that doesn't make any sense. Even Los Angeles. Los Angeles is on the list of cheapest places to travel in 2023.
I don't think you could pay me to go to Los Angeles, but
I'd go to Southern California, just not LA itself.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just not my thing out there. And it seems like only yesterday, Nigel, you and I were sending kind of some snarky letters to Jeff Bezos, the head of Amazon, because when he was looking for a second corporate headquarters, Indianapolis was a finalist on the list, but so was Los Angeles, and you wrote a letter.
Dear Mr. Bezos, thank you so much for selecting our city, Indianapolis, as a finalist for your second corporate headquarters. Indy is a great choice, much better than some of your other finalists, like Los Angeles. With a homeless population of more than 58,000, there's a reason why its nickname is Smell A. Do you really want to move your headquarters to a city that gave us Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey, and the Kardashians?
No.
Do you want to reward a city like LA that made such acclaimed films as Ishtar and Caddyshack 2? Also, Los Angeles produces 90% of the country's pornography. Okay, I guess that's not so bad. Sincerely, Hammer and Nigel.
So LA on the list of cheapest places to visit in 2023.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Over 1 million people would like to quit smoking.
That's why we're offering free nicotine replacement products to help. You can get 4 weeks of patches, gum, or lozenges, free while supplies last.
Simply call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Quit Now Indiana will help you break your tobacco addiction.
No lectures.
No pressure.
Just free help.
You can quit your way with the tools and support you need.
Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW today.
So you and I are homeowners. You are also a multi-legged bug in the basement owner. You are a low battery chirping smoke detector that you can't seem to find an owner. But thankfully, you and I are also American Standard furnace and air conditioner owners. So you don't need to have to worry about your heating and cooling. Need an American Standard service? Go check out our friends.
B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains in Speedway. Ask B&W about their Premier Club. Premier Club members get a visit from a B&W member in the spring and the fall where they'll check all of your electrical connections, voltage and amps on your AC and furnace, your gas pressure on your gas furnace, check the airflow, and leave you with extra filters so you can change it yourself when needed. Visit bplusw.com. That's B, the word plus, W.com, or just give them a call, 317-243-3581. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you. American Standard Heating and Air, built to a higher standard.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Driving is going to be tough. Clear skies at 44 degrees in downtown Indy. Nothing on your radar with a low of 32 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:30. The 5 to 8 inches of snow expected Wednesday is going to make your morning commute a serious challenge.
Our heaviest snow rates at times probably late Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning. This is going to result in difficult travel.
Jason Puma with the National Weather Service says don't get behind the wheel unless you have to. A winter storm warning starts tomorrow at 1 a.m. 2 drivers stuck around after a person was hit and killed in an accident Monday night. Parker Carlson reports.
A pedestrian was crossing State Road 37 by Belmont Avenue when they were struck by the first car, sent into the other lane, then was hit and killed by a second car. Both drivers stayed to cooperate with police, who don't suspect any alcohol or drugs to be a factor. They say that the road was under construction with no lights and crossways, which made it a very dangerous location for any pedestrian. Parker Carlson, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
President Biden is once again calling for an assault weapons ban following a mass shooting in California.
President Biden, like most Americans, believes that this is an urgent issue, that too many of our neighbors, colleagues, kids are losing their lives to gun violence.
The White House has asked Congress to act quickly to keep Americans safe after 11 people were killed in a shooting Saturday in California. Former Vice President Mike Pence had some classified documents in his possession. Fox's Jared Halpern has more.
An attorney for former Vice President Mike Pence notified the National Archives after a small number of documents bearing classified markings were discovered in Pence's home last week. The attorney says the documents were inadvertently boxed and transported to the home, and Pence was unaware of their existence. FBI agents collected the documents from Pence's residence. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Indianapolis native and 12-time Grammy Award winner Babyface will perform at this year's Super Bowl ahead of kickoff. The NFL announced he's going to sing America the Beautiful as part of the pregame show. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:32.
Hopefully, you'll never have a house or business fire. But if you do, hopefully, you'll never forget this name, Michaelis. They can be there before that lump in your throat goes away. In fact, they're the reason it goes away. Over 35 years of helping people recover from faulty wiring, lightning strikes, or that unattended pot of pasta on the stove. Michaelis crews often roll in before the fire hoses are rolled up. Their proven process of water extraction, smoke removal, and content storage will calm your nerves. Then their talented craftsmen will rebuild your home and restore your spirits. That starts by being your advocate with the insurance company. You'll find Michaelis doesn't just feel for you, they work for you. Water, storms, fire, and foundations. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
With traffic at 3:33, here's Matt Bear.
Getting a report of a crash southbound of 465 Brookville Road. It's actually on Brookville Road there at the bridge, so avoid it if you can. I'm also seeing a slowdown on the southeast side, southbound 465 after 72 south at Shadeland Avenue. South side, eastbound 465, slow roll from Man Road over to Harding. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indy Decorative Concrete patio. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts, changing the way Indy thinks about concrete. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Quiet day today with highs in the low 40s. Mostly cloudy skies. Tonight should see snow showers move in. Periods of heavy wet snow possible through the morning drive. Around 4 to 8 inches here across the metro area. Should see a few light snow showers during the afternoon with highs in the mid-30s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 Stephanie Meade for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Behold the power! You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC. Keeping an eye on that big winter storm moving through. Details forthcoming. My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there. Let's not wait. Let's get right into some vaccine stuff.
Pharmacies, antibodies, side effects, vaccine stuff.
Very excited about vaccine stuff and
I just watched the Ric Flair documentary.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's Ric Flair over here getting fired up for what they're calling a, quote, shift in the government's COVID vaccine policy. A major shift. Or is it, Hammer? Instead of putting out a booster every time a new variant hits, the FDA is going to vote on this Thursday. This could switch the guidance to recommend a yearly COVID shot like you do with the flu. So in other words, the way I see it is there's such a low percentage of people waiting to get their 6th booster.
Right.
And there's tons of questions surrounding the current vaccine and boosters. I think a plan like this has been in the works all along. It's trying to normalize the shot even more by saying, yeah, you know what? Just get it once a year like the flu shot.
Now, keep in mind that the flu shot in itself is kind of a gamble because what they do is they try to predict what type of flu bug it is and then make that the shot that you get. Sometimes it's right on the money and it protects you. Sometimes it's a swing and a miss. It's kind of a gamble. I've had flu shots in the past, and I have not had a flu shot in the past. So you're telling me that the vaccine is going to be kind of like that, to where it will be catered on the type of variant they're expecting that year?
Yeah. As the virus evolves, the vaccines evolves. At least that way, at least that's the way it works with the flu. I don't know. I'm a little people that have major questions about these boosters. I don't know that it's such a good thing because they're trying to normalize. Like, I haven't seen any of the current issues and questions surrounding these vaccines that are being addressed.
Right.
They're not being addressed. Instead, they're shifting the government's COVID vax policy to 1 vax per year. You remember the CDC issued a warning about, quote, safety signals surrounding the newest Pfizer bivalent vaccines last week and possible associations with heart issues and stroke issues. And here is something else you need to remember about these things. Is that in other countries, especially in Europe, where they've done a lot of extensive testing, these countries, again, especially in Europe, have basically ended the distribution of the jab except for those most at risk.
You said something earlier that I thought was really interesting, Nige, that our questions are not being answered. And yes, you're 100% right. What's happening is you're being yelled at for having the questions in the first place. The way that it seems right now, if you're somebody that has a legitimate question, you're not trying to make some sort of political statement, you might be the most apolitical person in the world, but you have a legitimate question about these mRNA vaccines, you're being told, what, are you some sort of denier? Are you some sort of vax denier? How dare you question the vaccines? That's not the approach that has to happen here. It's okay to have questions. I want to know why the folks that had the mRNA, stuff in the vaccines, why were they so quick to run off people like Johnson & Johnson and some of these other companies that were trying to make different vaccines? Because it's a question I have. Like, I don't trust big pharma as far as I can throw them, I'll be honest. So I'm curious as to what's going on behind the scenes here. Why did these groups work together to get rid of the other pharmaceutical companies who didn't want to put that stuff in their vaccines? It's a fair question.
I have gotten the flu shot in recent years and become extremely sick afterwards. 2019, I almost feel like COVID was floating around here October 2019.
That was the patient zero timeline.
I was patient zero in Indiana because I got the flu shot, and then literally a few days later I was on I couldn't get out of bed for 7 days, and then when I finally came to work that next Monday, my boss pulled me aside. He goes, "You look awful. Are you sure you should be here?"
And you were eating a bat at the time, and that's when we all put 2 and 2 together.
I have not had it, so I've not had anything except a flu shot since 2021. I did get the COVID vax upon the recommendation of my doctor. My last physical last summer, though, I inquired about the booster, and my doctor was like, I recommend them for my older patients. It's an older demographic my general practitioner has, I think. But he says, man, it seems like, and this is just what my doctor said, this is not, he goes, it seems like these boosters are flypaper. Like, I'll give a booster, and then 2 weeks later, they're back in here, and I'm prescribing Paxlovid or whatever the
hydroxychloroquine,
remdesivir,
dexamethasone.
So I was recommended. This is my recommendation from my personal doctor, just not to even bother with the booster. That's my recommendation from my doctor, not to anybody else. Just got to make that clear. All right.
Headline in the Indy Star tomorrow. It's going to be like a Greg Doyle article. Nigel says nobody needs it.
There are certainly some out there that look at the data and say that. I've been trying to get Berenson back on the show here. He texted me Sunday night watching football, and I'm trying to get him back on. I'm trying to get back on this week, and he is certainly not afraid to point out that the data show there are certainly some significant problems in terms of efficacy with these boosters and how long it lasts, merely weeks, if not a few months. And then are you just supposed to keep getting jabbed over and over and over again? That's what I think is really happening here, is the CDC and the FDA are saying, we can't be making people get 5 and 6 booster shots every year when a different variant comes out.
Right.
It's just going to have to be normalized like the flu.
We are doing some vaccine stuff here, and in New York, their governor, Kathy Hochul, says she will not hire back or hire new unvaccinated healthcare workers despite the mandate being overturned.
I don't think the answer is to have someone who comes in who's sick be exposed to someone who can give them the coronavirus, give them COVID-19. I don't know that that's the right answer. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not. So we're exploring our options. But I think everybody who goes into a healthcare facility or a nursing home should have the assurance, and their family members should know, that we have taken all steps to protect the public health, and that includes making sure those who come in contact with them at their time of most vulnerability, when they are sick or elderly, will not pass on the virus. But I cannot put people into harm's way, because when you go into a healthcare facility, you expect that you're not going to come out sicker than you went in.
Yeah, so, except the vaccines don't prevent transmission.
Right. You can still get it. You can still spread it. So why isn't that interview, and it's floating around social media, why isn't that slapped with the misinformation tag? Are we still doing that? I haven't been keeping up with Elon and Twitter lately, I'll admit. Are we still doing the misinformation things? Because that's a clear example of it right there. You listen to that speech from the governor, you think that if your healthcare worker has been vaccinated, there is no way that they will spread COVID to you. That's not true. That's a total lie.
Well, we want to talk about misinformation. Remember when she told a bunch of Christian worshipers, God wants you to get vaccinated? She's up there speaking for God now. God wants you to get the jab. Okay, that might be a little piece of misinformation as well. Maybe God wants you to make your own decision on what's best for your health. She is a weirdo, man. What happened to the necklace that said vaxxed? Is that what it said? She had some necklace that just said, I love the vaccine or something like that.
Can somebody make her wear one that just says nut? Like she's a crazy lunatic nut. That's what she is. Can we talk about, I know this is ridiculous, but this is a thing and it's trending. Some people think Damar Hamlin, the Buffalo Bills player, is dead, and there's a body double going around the country trying to make it look like that he's alive.
There's Damar Hamlin truthers?
Damar Hamlin truthers are out there.
Boy, that would have to be a very vast conspiracy, considering all the people that were involved in trying to save his life, his teammates, the hundreds of millions of people that saw him pass out and then pop back up.
The medical staff, the ambulance drivers,
yeah,
they all have to be in on it. All right. Let's just, for argument's sake, say that your friend is a Damar Hamlin truther, which is ridiculous to say in itself. You have to convince me that everybody is in on this, including Bill's teammate Cole Beasley, who is a well-known anti-vaxxer, and although he's never really came out and said it, Cole Beasley, kind of a MAGA guy, So,
You think?
the broadcasters have been at him. Sports writers that are super woke go at Cole Beasley. Do you think he would keep all this a secret?
No, not at all. I didn't know he was a quote. Are you sure he's an anti-vax or just
anti-vax mandate?
Okay.
He did not like, people being told to get the vax. And of course, in the NFL, when you do that, you've got every woke sports writer in every city wagging his finger at you.
You're a pariah.
Right. Yeah. They're threatening to drive you to the airport and take you to war somewhere. But also, I will say this. If you watch that Bengals and Bills game on Sunday, the network, and I think it was CBS, didn't do any favors for the people who feel like the truthers are morons, because the only shots they got of Damar Hamlin were like really grainy pictures of him in the press box. Like it looked like the Zapruder film of Kennedy, right? We've got all these HD cameras. Like when they're having a Cowboys game, you can see what kind of shrimp Jerry Jones has, someone cleaning his glasses. But the biggest story in the world is in a press box, and I know that it's snowing, but all we got was like that Bigfoot footage where it's kind of grainy, and he shows up on a golf cart and you can't see his face.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there's probably some other medical issues he might be having, and that's why, I mean, maybe he has some sort of paralysis that went along with his condition in his face. Maybe he doesn't want people to see that. I mean, God, he was intubated. I mean, that could screw up a person's voice. So maybe he's not giving interviews. There's probably a whole host of reasons why he doesn't want to be maybe physically on camera, much less giving up close and personal interviews at this point.
Maybe he's going to get paid for that first interview.
Well, there's that.
Chris Rock never talked about the slap until he had a big special prime time coming out, a live comedy show. Yep. And I bet he makes a ton of money on that. All right, one more thing here. I know we're running long, but since we're going down this road of conspiracy theories, what was it you sent me earlier today about the Titanic?
Oh, this is the kind of information and entertainment and stuff you watch on TikTok. This new TikTok video introduced a conspiracy theory that the Titanic never actually sank.
Oh.
They say it was another older boat that looked identical, and it was sunk so the company could get the insurance money. So here is Mia, a TikToker, going through the whole theory.
The Olympic and the Titanic, they look identical. The Olympic was on the water for a while. Like, she was reaching retirement, and they knew that. And they were like, well, it was a lot of money to make the Titanic, and it's going to be even more money to repair the Olympic. So what if we just sent the Olympic out instead, sank that, claimed some insurance money, and then just scraps the Titanic like it was the Olympic for some spare parts?
All right, so let me ask you this, Nigel.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. What happened to all those people that was drowned in the water and froze to death?
Like, and James Cameron went down there with cameras and stuff, and they've got artifacts from the Titanic. But let me just ask you this. If I told you one of these stories was true, which one would you believe?
Damar Hamlin truther or the Titanic thing?
Right. Which story, if someone told you one of these is true, Damar Hamlin is actually passed away and the Titanic never sank.
I would say the Titanic never sank if I had to pick one.
James, jump into the conversation here. If one of those was true, which one would you believe?
I would have to believe the Titanic, I think.
I'm going Damar Hamlin.
I don't believe either one of them.
No, I don't believe either one of them either. But hit us up on Twitter, @Hammer and Nigel. If someone told you one of those two stories was real, now note, we don't believe any of them are, but which one would you believe? Damar Hamlin or the Titanic? @Hammer and Nigel.
Hi, this is Denny Smith. Periodic maintenance works, especially when it comes to your well and well pump. And C&J Well can schedule your preventive 6-point well care today, including a thorough piping exam, a switch analysis, a pressure tank check, a flow evaluation, and an AMPS test on the pump, and a bacteria sampling. Normally $450, but it's $100 off right now for $350. Keep your water source healthy and dependable. C&J Well Company. They're local, they're exceptional, they're affordable. 317-852-WELL or go to cjforwater.com.
All right, home show season is here. Window Nation is bringing the home show savings to you for one final week. You get 0% financing for 60 months. It's 5 years, no interest, plus 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. All this without leaving the comfort of your home. Go to windownation.com/home show and try out their free virtual visualizer.
I am a customer of Window Nation. I love my windows from Window Nation. Not only do they look great, but they save me money. And times like this, where you've got the heater running, you don't want the warm air seeping outside. Get good, energy-efficient windows from Window Nation and take advantage of this deal. Buy 2, get 2 for free. There's no limit, and you can get any style. And the best part, no interest for 5 years. At least call and get the conversation started. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
As a Walgreens pharmacist, I talk with people all the time about little tips and tricks for filling their Medicare prescriptions, like taking advantage of Walgreens 90-day refills to save them a trip, or using Refill by Scan, which is super easy and right on your phone. And for anybody worried about prescription costs, I say, hey, we got you, with low-cost copays on many medications.
Let's talk about making things easier. Walgreens is here. Fill your way and save at walgreens.com/Medicare. See pharmacists for restrictions and exclusions.
A B-Window $2,000 energy-saving credit plus federal tax credit and sale prices on windows, siding, and doors. No payments and no interest for 22 months.
Matt Bear, are we seeing a lot of traffic at grocery stores right now? Is there a backup by Kroger by the milk and bread aisles?
Just the milk and bread aisles. As a matter of fact, people are parking inside next to the milk and bread. That's how in demand it is right now. Looking at Brookville Road eastbound at 465. That is a crash. Avoid if you can. Right lane blocked right now. East side southbound 465 slow 72 south Shadeland. Inbound 65 stop and go from 21st to the north split. And on the south side eastbound 465 stop and go from Kentucky to Harding. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Now get a $2,000 energy saving credit and federal tax credit at B Window, plus sale prices on windows, siding, and doors with 22 months, no interest or payments. BWindow.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Outside of grocery stores tonight, you're going to see like scalpers, like they would at big sporting events. I got eggs here, eggs, 2 for 10. I got eggs. Come on, 2 for 10. 43 right now at the American Standard Heating Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
Okay, so more on the incoming weather system here in just a few minutes. Everything you need to know to keep you safe and warm and out of trouble. My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. Oscar nominations just hit today. Up for Best Picture. Avatar's in there. The Way the Water. Elvis is in there. The Fabelmans, which is a Steven Spielberg sort of kind of movie about his life. And then Top Gun Maverick is in there, which is, it was always kind of surprising to me that like when movies that popular make it in. It's like usually the ones you've never heard of, like All Quiet on the Western Front or The Banshees of Inisherin.
The English Patient. Remember when The English Patient won? Nobody likes that movie. That movie sucks.
Yeah. Some movie named, I don't even know if I'm saying it right, Tear, with a little...
It's got a little accent above the A.
I think that one's with Kate Blanchett, where she plays the composer. But I think like when you see popular movies like Top Gun Maverick, who just did excellent at the box office, and they're up for a bunch of awards. Tom Cruise snubbed for Best Actor, but they also got awards for Best like Adapted Screenplay, Best I think Score, Best Original, Best Editing, stuff like that. But I would love to see Best Picture. I would love to see it score Best Picture. I bet it's Avatar. Or maybe Elvis. I haven't seen Elvis. You've seen Elvis. I haven't.
Like the guy that plays Elvis, now he's up for Best Actor. He is phenomenal. I think his name is Austin Butler. He's really good. But Tom Hanks ruins the movie. There's too much Tom Hanks. He won't shut up, and he's fat. And it takes the life out of the movie, man.
Austin Butler plays Elvis, is up for Best Actor. Colin Farrell, Brendan Fraser for his role in The Whale.
He's the favorite from what I hear. And again, I don't see many movies, but I gamble a lot. And I'm looking at the numbers here, and they're saying Brendan Fraser is the guy.
He is. And he gave an amazing accepted speech at another awards show last weekend. It was really, really good. He plays an obese guy trying to reconnect with his teenage daughter. But for the most part, The Whale got kind of snubbed.
Obese guy trying to connect with his teenage daughter. Isn't that George Conway? That's really just a George Conway story, isn't it?
Right. Wow. Lead actress, best actress, Kate Blanchett. You guys are giving me crap for liking Kate Blanchett the other day. I think she's a good female. I think she's a great actress. I mean, her role as Katharine Hepburn in The Aviator, I thought was awesome.
Kate Blanchett could come in here and just take a dump on the floor, and I would have no idea who she was.
Lord.
And I know that makes me sound like the old get off my lawn guy. Again, I just don't watch many movies. I watch TV series. I'll binge watch stuff on Netflix, but it's really sports and news, man. That's all I watch. Ana de Armas. Now, she was in the movie Blonde. That was a Netflix movie about Marilyn Monroe, and it was rated NC-17. So if you've not seen that, put the kids to bed and take a gander.
You know, back to Elvis for a second. The Tom Hanks character that he played, even though Austin Butler, who played Elvis, is up for Best Actor, Tom Hanks is up for a Razzie. You know what the Razzies are? They give awards to the worst movies and the worst acting performances of the year.
Right.
So you have that. That's kind of an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, he was bad in that. I'm sorry. I like Elvis. I'm fascinated with it. My wife and I sat down, and once it became available to stream or, on demand, we watched it. He just sucks the life out of it. Need more Elvis, less Colonel Parker. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Now, since we had the announcement for all the nominees earlier today, let's have great moments in Oscar announcement history. Let's go back to 2012 when Seth MacFarlane tried to warn us about Harvey Weinstein while announcing some Oscar nominees.
The 2012 nominees for Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role are Sally Field in Lincoln, Anne Hathaway in Les Miserables, Jackie Weaver in Silver Linings Playbook, Helen Hunt in The Sessions, and Amy Adams in The Master. Congratulations, you 5 ladies no longer have to pretend to be attracted to Harvey Weinstein.
And that was before all of the news broke. He tried to warn us. Seth MacFarlane in 2012. Top stories coming up next.
Foot, knee, hip, or back pain? We can help. Hi, this is Phoebe with the Good Feet store, and I want to talk about your discomfort. Did you know that your feet have a quarter of all the bones in your whole body? With 4 arches, 33 joints, and over 100 ligaments and tendons in each foot, it's no wonder so many people suffer from foot, knee, hip, and back pain. Stop throwing your money away on all those over-the-counter products and expensive shoes that just can't do what the Good Feet store can. At America's Arch Support Store, we teach you everything you need to know about how our patented 3-step system will work to solve your problems so you can get back to living the life you love without your pain getting in the way. Come in today for your free personalized fitting and test walk and trade in those bad feet for some good feet. Don't just live with the pain. Discover your options at the Good Feet store. We're in Fishers and Greenwood. Call 829-1040 or visit goodfeet.com to make your appointment today. Get back to doing what you love with Arch Supports from the Good Feet store.
Dan Dockage for Affinity Whole Health. Affinity is the leader in testosterone and hormone replacement therapy, and I got to tell you, I see why. Since I started a testosterone replacement program with Affinity, my energy, mental focus, drive, everything is up, and the physical benefits are amazing. Check them out at feelgreatindy.com. Guys, you can improve the way you look, the way you feel. You can build muscle and lose fat. Affinity will give you the roadmap. Go to feelgreatindy.com. That's feelgreatindy.com.
When the weather turns severe, turn to the WIBC Storm Desk, presented by Technology Recyclers, certified electronics recycling. Visit tech-recyclers.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, what to know about the snow that's on the way tomorrow. Also, Indy Metro Police have made an arrest in a stabbing that happened in downtown this morning. And the Indiana Pacers are trying to put an end to a 7-game losing streak. All that and more coming up after Fox News Radio from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. It's about 44 degrees downtown right now. You're listening to 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
The White House steers clear. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
As you all know, the Department of Justice is independent, and we will not politically interfere.
Spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre rejecting the latest questions about classified documents, including materials found at former Vice President Mike Pence's home in Indiana, where attorneys say a small number of documents had classified markings.
The documents were collected at Pence's home by the FBI after Pence's team notified the National Archives of the discovery last week. Following revelations of classified material at the home and a former office of President Biden dating back to his time as vice president, Pence directed his attorneys to review records stored in his home in the office of his political advocacy group.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The attorneys say Pence was not aware the documents had been inadvertently boxed and transported to the home. President Biden meeting with Democratic congressional leaders days after the U.S. hit its borrowing limit. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says default would be a catastrophe for working families.
And playing brinksmanship, taking hostages, is being risky and not caring about average people.
He's criticizing a Republican push to make a deal with spending cuts. Senate GOP leader Mitch McConnell says he thinks the solution has to come from the House Speaker and the President. The head of Ticketmaster's parent company blaming bots for the pre-sale collapse of Taylor Swift tickets. They had more than 3 billion requests.
This is what led to a terrible consumer experience, which we deeply regret.
Live Nation President Joe Birch called at a Senate hearing on the ticket industry and concerns about competition. The Justice Department approved the merger of Ticketmaster and Live Nation in 2010 and is investigating last year's meltdown. A mixed day overall on Wall Street. But for the Dow, 3 wins in a row, up about 104 points at the closing bell. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
You probably shouldn't get behind the wheel tomorrow. 44 degrees, partly cloudy in downtown Indy. You've got a clear radar with a low of 32. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. A snowstorm like this one should keep you off the roads.
Avoid traffic. Stay off the roads. We would recommend people check their county advisory maps.
Jason Puma with the National Weather Service. He says central Indiana is expected to get around 5 to 8 inches of snow, with snow starting to fall late tonight. A winter storm warning goes into effect at 1 a.m. and lasts until 7 Wednesday evening. Police in Indianapolis have made an arrest in a stabbing that happened downtown Tuesday morning. John Herrick reports.
It happened on Illinois Street just south of Circle Center Mall around 1 o'clock. A man was found stabbed to death. IMPD says they searched the area and eventually found a man who matched the description of the suspect that they had been looking for. They've identified him as Nicholas Radford. Radford was arrested. Charges against Radford will come from the Marion County Prosecutor's Office. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A pedestrian was struck and killed by 2 cars Monday night. IMPD says the victim was pronounced dead at the scene. Both drivers stayed there to help. It happened on State Road 37 by Belmont Avenue. It's currently under construction. In that area, there's no crosswalks or streetlights. Police don't suspect alcohol to be involved in the wreck. A special judge in the Delphi murders case has ruled that the jury will come from Allen County. The prosecutors and defense made Judge Francis Gall choose between St. Joseph and Allen County before a decision was made today. The suspect, Richard Allen, has a hearing set for February 17th. The Indiana Pacers are on a 7-game losing streak, but guard TJ McConnell is confident they can turn things around.
Yeah, we just have a good group. No one's hanging their heads. No one's feeling sorry for themselves. We're coming in here, getting work every day, and trying to get better, and that's all you can ask for.
They play Chicago tonight at 7. You can hear it on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Pregame starts at 6:30. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:04.
At Diamonds Direct, we want to make something very clear.
we will absolutely beat the price of any comparable diamond that you find anywhere else. No fine print, no disclaimers, just a rock-solid, unqualified nationwide price guarantee. This goes for 1-carat diamonds as well as 15 and 20-carat diamonds. You see, at Diamonds Direct, we're more than just another jewelry store. We're part of a world diamond powerhouse with direct access to the world's top diamond mines. We have our own diamond cutters too, so we are active in every aspect of the diamond market every single day, from source to showroom. So when you see a diamond somewhere else, online or in a store, or from some so-called supplier, just know that apples for apples, you will get a better price at Diamonds Direct. Our volume, our connections, our buying power make this possible, and it's why we've never ever lost a sale due to price. So at a time when value means so much, we invite you to take this challenge and let us prove it. Day in and day out, you will always get a better quality diamond at a better price at Diamonds Direct. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Online at diamondsdirect.com.
With traffic on the 5s at 405, here's Matt Bear.
Stay clear of Weaver Avenue on the south side. That's near Hannah and Madison. A report of a small plane crash in that area. Again, it's a small plane. No confirmed injuries here at this time, but the area is going to have police and emergency vehicle activity. Best to stay clear. We're in Fishers, southbound at 69. Stop-and-go traffic after 106th Street down to 82nd because of a crash. 2 right lanes blocked in that crash. Eastbound 465 slows Keystone Avenue over to Allisonville Road. Inbound 69, stop and go from 21st Street over to the north split, and eastbound 70 slow to downtown from west. Traffic sponsored by Fresh Time Market. This week at Fresh Time Market, save on a full dry pint of blueberries, just $1.99 now through January 24th. Get real. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
For tonight, rain and snow chances increase after midnight. By 3 a.m., we should switch over to heavy snow. Snow showers will be possible through lunch on Wednesday. High temperatures on Wednesday in the mid-30s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
On 93 WIBC.
So let's rock it!
Anywhere from 4 to 12 inches of snow expecting to fall. Winter storm arriving late tonight. My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there. Winter storm warning kicking in later tonight. Nearly all of Indiana. Probably some travel hazards are expected. The worst of it during early morning commute tomorrow to work. When all is said and done, again, 4 to 12 inches in some parts. They're calling for snow and 4 to 12 inches. The National Weather Service says some areas will get up to a foot. Most of the state will get closer to 4.
The more north you are in the WIBC listening area, the more snow you will probably get.
And this is the heavy-duty thing about this, is that winter storm warning isn't supposed to expire until 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
Right. Now, usually, if you're a weather nerd, those expiration dates, usually they're about 2 or 3 hours on the safe side. So usually 2 or 3 hours prior, that's when things end. So don't be scared of the fact that it's 7 p.m. tomorrow.
Well, you just heard the news say that there's still going to be snow through lunch tomorrow. So you and I mean, the people that have to get out and have to go to work tomorrow are going to get the worst of it. But you and I get here 10, 11 o'clock every day, and it still might be a bit of a problem getting in from wherever you're coming from.
So here's what I want you to do. When you wake up tomorrow, whether you've got kids, grandkids that are going to school, or you've got to go somewhere, you're going to work, or whatever the case may be, turn on WIBC. Matt Bear will have you covered with the roads. Tony Katz will give you all the information that you need. 93 WIBC. Tony in the morning. Then Rob and Casey will take over. Nigel and I will be back tomorrow, and we'll keep you up to date with this winter storm making its way through Indy. We've got some other news, and I think we have legal stuff. Crime, punishment, judges, legal stuff. So the guy that used to sit in this very chair, Nige, our former midday guy, Mike Pence, he also has some classified documents at his house.
At this point, who doesn't? I mean, Jimmy Carter's probably got classified documents underneath his bed somewhere or like right next to his orthopedics.
Bill Clinton has a roll of toilet paper that's nothing but classified documents.
A Pence lawyer digging around his house in Carmel/Zionsville found some classified documents.
And Mike Pence self-reported himself. So he was the one that said,
myself to self-report myself.
That's such a weenie move. I'll hide it, Mike. Come on. Hide the stuff. Don't tell them anything. See, this is why I think when you try to work and cross party lines and you try to work with the political left, and Mike Pence has tried to do that from time to time, you have to be very careful because these people will lump you into the same category as the others they're trying to bring down.
I've said from Trump to Pence to now, I don't really care about the classified materials in and of itself. But when the Trump Biden stuff was going on, there was such a double standard in the media.
Right.
With how it was treated. With Trump, it's national alarm, 4-alarm national emergency, national security, nuclear codes are being sold. With Biden, it's like, he didn't know. He's an old man. He didn't know what was going on. And now with Vice President Pence, we'll see how the media treats Pence. Now, the CNN,
I bet it's tougher than Biden.
The press conferences that Karine Jean-Pierre has with the press, those are the ones that are tough. They've been tough on her because they're not being very transparent in terms of the classified documents, what's in those documents, how Hunter Biden may have even been involved with those documents, money transferring hands from Hunter Biden, 10% to the big guy, the Hunter Biden laptop, China, Ukraine. I want to know what's in those documents for sure. But I'm interested to see what the media reaction now is going to be with Vice President Pence.
Why was Mar-a-Lago the only place that was raided? Okay, so now we've got a lot of people with classified documents. Biden's got some in a garage. Mike Pence has got some in his house. Trump's got some at Mar-a-Lago. Only one person had an all systems go, all points bulletin FBI raid, and that was Donald Trump. When is Obama going to have the FBI show up to just take a look around? That's a former president. If your vice president had classified documents, it might be worth looking around Casa de Obama.
True. I would not be surprised if there's some documents, but at least Obama. I mean, there's precedence for presidents having. Yes, vice presidents have access to classified material while in office. After that, you get nothing. You don't have custody.
I'm just saying, where's the FBI raids at?
Right. But you got to give everything back. Look, I think here's what this means for Sleepy Joe. I think it means he's basically off the hook. There's a little bit of a reprieve now. Look, we all do it. Me, Trump, Pence. It's all happened to the best of us. We don't know. So if you thought the classified documents scandal, and it is a scandal for Biden, it may not be the straw to break the Biden 2024 campaigns back. It may not be the straw you thought it was. And by the way, Pence has hopes and dreams in 2024 as well.
Everything you said is correct. You're 100% right. But for me, it just comes down to, why did one guy who's got the ability to declassify that stuff have an FBI raid come to his house and go through his wife's panty drawer looking for some sort of documents? Biden's got some next to some oily rags in the WD-40 in his garage. Mike Pence has got some probably next to some old WIBC and Network Indiana air check tapes, but we're fine there. Nobody wants to do that kind of stuff. And I don't know, tinfoil hat here. I think the press is being tough on Karine Jean-Pierre because they know this is their chance to get rid of Joe Biden. If he's not their nominee, greasy Gavin Newsom can come up, and he's a much better candidate. Right now, if you're the Democrats, Gavin Newsom gives you a better chance to win an election than Joe Biden does. He's got a better chance to win than Kamala Harris does. Maybe Pete Buttigieg is the only one in this administration that would have a puncher's chance against old greasy Gavin in California. This is their opportunity, putting that tinfoil hat on here. Mike Pence, he did an interview a couple months back with ABC News. I think it was with Daniel Muir, and he talked about classified documents.
You take any classified documents with you from the White House?
I did not.
Ooh. Do you see any reason for anyone to take classified documents with them leaving the White House?
Well, there'd be no reason to have classified documents, particularly if they were in an unprotected area.
I bet. Ooh! But I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see the reason Pence comes up with now. I bet he's got a reason now.
Oh, those classified
wait
documents.
a minute. I forgot. It did seem like he hesitated there a little bit when the guy asked him, "Did you take any classified documents with you?" No.
You sounded like Ted Knight in Caddyshack. Billy. That was pretty good.
I didn't mean to, but okay, I'll take it.
So, Ghislaine Maxwell, if that name rings a bell, it's because she was part of the pedophile ring led by Jeffrey Epstein. She was kind of his love interest / right-hand woman.
She would procure the underage talent and bring them to the island.
Right.
She would befriend these underage girls, make them think they were, her little sisters. She was the older, cooler gal, and she would groom them and prepare them for Jeffrey Epstein and all the perverts who we don't know who they were. We don't have a list of who was there at the island. She's the only one in jail.
I was chatting with my friend Tim during the commercial break, and he sends me a message. So let me get this straight. Congress is grilling Ticketmaster today about Taylor Swift prices, but we don't know who was on the list for Pedophile Island. We are so screwed as a nation. Like, our priorities are so out of whack. But she did an interview, a jailhouse interview, and she was asked...
Hold on, wait. She's still alive?
She's still alive.
She hasn't been suicided?
Apparently, the Clintons don't know exactly which cell she's in yet. But she was asked the million-dollar question, did Jeffrey Epstein commit suicide?
No, he didn't. I don't believe he did. I believe that he was murdered. Well, I was shocked. And I wondered how it had happened. Because as far as I was concerned, he was going to... I was sure he was going to appeal. And I was sure that he was covered under the non-prosecution agreement.
Non-prosecution agreement caught my attention. And she also says he was planning to appeal. Guys planning to appeal don't commit suicide. Not that any of us think he really committed suicide. Let's be honest. I don't
think he did.
I don't think he did either. Too many coincidences went down for that to happen.
2 idiot security guards fell asleep. They don't have the tape. There were people that are experts in the field, like coroners and stuff, that looked at it and said, "Yeah, that's not. That doesn't look like somebody that hung himself with his shoestrings."
Right. Too many things going on there, but that little line that she said there at the end, prosecution protection. Again, it floors me, and we talk about this a lot. The 2 biggest things that have happened in this country in the last 10 years, the shooting in Las Vegas, the biggest mass shooting on one of the most famous streets in all of the world. Everybody just washes their hands of it. We don't know. No motive. Don't ask any questions. And Jeffrey Epstein. Listen, I don't care if it's Republicans, Democrats, whoever. You find out who's on that list. We have a list. Unseal it. The fact that it's sealed up and it was the prosecution, Lincoln Lion James Comey's daughter, that demanded it be sealed up, man, this whole thing stinks to hell. A man that smells very good is Matt Baer.
Why, thank you. Looking southeast of here at Shelby Street, small plane crash being investigated on the railroad tracks of Weaver Avenue. Stay clear of Shelby and Hannah Avenue. This is near the University of Indianapolis in that area, so please be careful. I see backups right now on Shelby and Hannah. Inbound 69 stopped after 106th Street to 465 because of a crash, blocking 2 right lanes. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Now get a $2,000 energy saving credit and federal tax credit at B window, plus sale prices on windows, siding, and doors with 22 months, no interest or payments. BeWindow.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Right now, we've got sunshine and 44. This time tomorrow, it's going to suck here at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. Winter storm warning begins at 1 a.m. Is that right, Nigel?
Yeah, 1 a.m. and lasts until 7 p.m. tomorrow night.
And we've got full coverage throughout the night and the morning right here at 93 WIBC. Is this anything? Next.
If you're an aspiring retiree, chances are you're looking to answer one of life's biggest questions. When can I afford to retire? And while you don't need a fortune to plan for retirement, you do need a vision. A true financial planning partner will encourage you to think about and help you determine the why, when, and where for your retirement. That's what we believe retirement is really all about. Not having to wonder what's next, but instead having the financial confidence to know your biggest concerns have been addressed, giving you the freedom to live your life with meaning and purpose. This is Brian Singer with Howard Bailey Financial. Retirement is not a time to downsize your dreams. We believe you can get whatever you want in life, but only by design. We ask aspiring retirees to stand in the future and imagine what you'd like to be true of your life in 3, 5, or 10 years, or whenever your desired timeline for retirement happens to be. Our Retire with Purpose planning process is where you become the architect of your future by starting with the end you want to achieve and reverse engineering that outcome. Retiring with purpose begins with the why rather than the how. The Brownsburg Howard Bailey team employs a planning process designed to bring your future into the present so we can help you design that future now. We want to empower you to use your money to help create the life you want to live so you can spend retirement doing whatever it is you want to do with meaning and purpose. The Retire with Purpose process is designed to prepare you for financial independence by design rather than hope or chance. If you're ready to retire with purpose and confidence, give us a call at 317-852-9153 to schedule a retirement readiness review. 317-852-9153. 317-852-9153.
Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities, LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Hey, this is Malia. We often get asked when is the best time to buy, and the answer is today, not tomorrow. With rising utility costs, rising product costs, and missed opportunity costs, which you could be saving with a high-efficiency system. Give us a call today to schedule your free in-depth estimate, 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Every small business owner knows business happens everywhere. The office, the warehouse, or on the road. And no matter where it takes you, there's one solution to help your business thrive. Comcast Business Complete Connectivity. It's the largest, fastest, reliable network with advanced gig speed Wi-Fi and cyber threat protection in one solution. Plus, add Comcast Business Mobile and you can save up to 60% a year on your wireless bill. Get started for just $40 a month for 12 months with no annual contract when you add mobile. And ask how to get up to a $750 prepaid card.
Flight 291 is now boarding.
Yep, you're going places. And when you get there, be ready to do business. The complete connectivity solution from the company that powers more small businesses than any other provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/21/2023. Restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New 100 megabits per second internet and Comcast Business Security Edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Gig internet required for gig Wi-Fi. Mobile savings compares pricing of top 3 carriers.
As a Walgreens pharmacist, I talk with people all the time about little tips and tricks for filling their Medicare prescriptions, like taking advantage of Walgreens 90-day refills to save them a trip, or using Refill by Scan, which is super easy and right on your phone. And for anybody worried about prescription costs, I say, hey, we got you, with low-cost copays on many medications.
Let's talk about making things easier. Walgreens is here. Fill your way and save at walgreens.com/Medicare. See pharmacists for restrictions and exclusions.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything? On 93 WIBC.
Hammer, how do we play? Is this anything?
I got a couple stories that I'm going to run by you. You break down the information and tell us if the stories are anything or not.
Okay.
I think I already know the answer to this question, but do you guys want to hear what it sounds like when a 30-pound frozen iguana falls on a guy's head doing yoga?
Of course. Do I?
From there, we'll simply roll up. Lift your hips and just hold for 1, 2.
Dump.
I gotta hear that again. Just be prepared for it. I mean, you could actually hear the thing.
From there, we'll simply roll up. Lift your hips and just hold for 1, 2.
So, that's what it sounds like when a frozen iguana falls on a guy doing yoga outdoors in Florida, huh?
Is that anything?
That's definitely something. He's okay. Iguanas in Florida have been known to go and do I don't know what you call it, like a state of temporary paralysis when the temperature is like 50 and under. They're not dead. They tell you not to pick them up. They tell you not to, if you see an iguana just laying on the side of the road or in your yard, don't touch it, especially if it's been under 50 degrees, which it has been kind of cool in Florida. Not recently, but over December for sure. They just fall to the ground. And
they're just catatonic, right? Like the grandparents in Weird Science.
Yeah. Right.
Is that my grandparents? What are they doing in here?
He's okay. The guy was I mean, the fact that they're doing outdoor yoga in that kind of weather too, I mean, that normally only happens when the temperature is 50 below or 50 degrees or below. So.
Right. Now, Florida's weird right now because parts of southern Florida, from like Orlando down, is like 80.
Yeah.
But then up by the Panhandle and you go over to like the Jacksonville area, it's, still 50 plus.
We went to Boca there on the Atlantic side, a couple of, I think for my wife's, for our anniversary. No, maybe it was her 40th birthday. And they get into the power lines and transformers and stuff down there, and they will knock out city blocks. We were without power our last night, like fell asleep in the hotel room, and there was no power from like midnight until we had to go to the airport the next morning.
Because of a stupid iguana.
Yep.
It wasn't because of Kim Jong-un or Putin.
No hacking, no, nothing like that. Iguana.
Man, 30-pound anything falling on your head.
They're huge. Those things are giant.
Yeah, they're big boys. Anything 30 pounds falling on your head, though, can't feel good. Is this anything? A wild turkey in Minnesota has become famous over the last few years for terrorizing a mobile home community. Stop laughing, you insensitive bastard.
For the past few years, a wild turkey has become famous for terrorizing a mobile home community.
Let's hear from some of the locals.
Goes up my stairs and tries to get in my house. When I leave in the car, follows me in my car. It gets on the back of my husband's truck and follows me. It rode to Chipotle with me one time. I have to carry my broom and my water bottle and my golf club with me everywhere I go.
Like, we can't have people over. We can't have a barbecue.
The kids that walk to the bus stop every morning, I have to come out and help them. But now they're smart and they carry sticks.
Yeah, why don't you eat the thing, you idiots?
Kill it.
Where's Eddie? He usually eats these GD things. Why? Yeah, is it? I don't know. There might be some weird wildlife law in Minnesota that doesn't allow you to do that.
So you just have to be attacked by the damn turkey?
That's why I was laughing. It's become, this turkey is famous. Because for years it's been terrorizing a trailer park in Minnesota.
It's like going to the lake, with Jason Voorhees running around. He's been terrorizing this place for years. Well, do something about it. It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
Does runaway inflation and reckless spending in Washington have you worried about the security of your hard-earned retirement savings? If so, it's time to call the precious metals experts at Fisher Capital. Fisher Capital specializes in helping investors like you diversify their retirement portfolio and preserve wealth with physical gold and silver. Whether you're looking to acquire coins or bars, open a gold IRA, or just want to learn more about the advantages of owning precious metals, Fisher Capital will equip you with the knowledge to make an informed decision that's right for you and your family. Call Fisher Capital today at 800-376-4333. That's 800-376-4333. Mention WIBC when you call to get a free no-obligation investor kit. 800-376-4333. 800-376-4333. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Don't lose another night's sleep worrying about the security of your retirement savings. Call Fisher Capital. 800-376-4333.
Mark Dietel, the only real estate agent I'd trust to sell my house. Chris and Carly in Indianapolis have kind of a crazy story. They had to move out of the country because of their jobs. So they were excited, but their home was not an easy sell. They knew Mark Dietel would guarantee their home sold, so they called him, and as promised, their home was listed and sold in the time frame they needed.
Call the agent that we recommend and trust on the Hammer and Nigel show, Mark Dietel. Mark Dietel is the only one that can guarantee an offer in 3 days at full market value, or he will list it for free. That is the Mark Dietel guarantee. That's what separates him from the competition. All you have to do is call him today and get the ball rolling. Call Mark Dietel, 317-755-4232, or go to markdietel.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietel.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
We expect our information in real time. U.S. Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. U.S. Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 800-730-8405 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check. As easy as, that's 800-730-8405.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
While the cops are on the south side, sunny and 44 downtown with a clear radar. The low tonight is 32. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:31. A small plane has crashed on the south side of Indianapolis.
There's the plane right where that dude's standing in the yellow.
Witness video uploaded to the Citizen Mobile reporting app this afternoon. The plane is on Weaver Avenue near Shelby Street, close to the University of Indianapolis. Indiana Railroad was told to stop all trains in the area. No word on any injuries. By now, you've heard about the winter storm that's supposed to arrive in central Indiana late tonight.
We're really expecting anywhere between 5 and 9 to 10 inches of snow.
Jason Puma with the National Weather Service. He says the snow will make travel difficult, so stay off the roads if you can. A winter storm warning starts tomorrow at 1. It lasts until 7 Wednesday evening. The Indianapolis Department of Public Works will have 60 trucks and over 100 members working tonight and Wednesday treating roads. A special judge in the Delphi murders case has ruled that the jury will come from Allen County. The prosecutors and defense made Judge Francis Gold choose between St. Joseph and Allen County before a decision was made today. The suspect, Richard Allen, has a hearing set for February 17th. Classified documents were found inside Mike Pence's Indiana home last week. The White House doesn't want to publicly talk about it.
I'm not going to comment on any ongoing criminal investigation or any investigation. As you all know, the Department of Justice is independent, and we will not politically interfere.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. Both President Biden and former President Donald Trump are under review by special counsels for classified documents found in their homes. Google is being sued by the Justice Department. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced the lawsuit.
We alleged that Google has used anti-competitive, exclusionary, and unlawful conduct to eliminate or severely diminish any threat to its dominance over digital advertising technologies.
8 states are also joining in on the lawsuit. The plaintiffs also want the company to be broken up. And your stock report, the Dow up 104 to 33,733. The NASDAQ down 30 points to 11,334. And the S&P 500 dropping 2 points today to 4,016. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:33.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. If I'm going to be at my best, I have to talk out my problems, like really dig in. It's work, but when I'm doing the work, everything clicks. I sleep like I should, exercise, eat right, and I'm generally an all right person to be around. This is why therapy has been so integral in helping me develop healthy, mental health. I mean, talking to my therapist just alleviates so much anxiety. If you're thinking about trying therapy out, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient and flexible because everything is online. It's also affordable. Just go to BetterHelp.com, fill out the questionnaire. You'll be matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time at no additional charge. It's really easy, so convenient. If you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit BetterHelp.com/WIBC today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/WIBC.
With traffic at 434, what's going on, Matt Bear?
Fisher stopped southbound 60 dot 106th Street down to 82nd because of a crash at the ramps of 465. Two right lanes were blocked, and they still are, as a matter of fact. And Harrison, you're talking about this. If you could avoid Hannah and Shelby right now, large emergency crew response on Weaver Avenue there in that area on the south side because of a plane crashing into the railroad tracks. So lots of response there, and watch out if you are in the area of Shelby and Hannah on the south side. Traffic sponsored by Eskenazi Health. Learn about careers at Eskenazi Health during a career fair on Wednesday, February 8th from 3 to 6 p.m. at the Sidney and Lois Eskenazi Hospital. Please visit eskenazihealth.edu/events. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
For tonight, rain and snow chances increase after midnight. By 3 a.m., we should switch over to heavy snow. Snow showers will be possible through lunch on Wednesday. High temperatures on Wednesday in the mid-30s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
And we will be keeping up to date on the weather situation. Big weather system, big storm coming through Indy, and we will have all the latest, everything you need to know throughout the night and day here on the Hammer and Nigel Show. Tony Katz, Casey, Rob Kendall, and Casey will all have everything you need to know. And we'll be speaking with Marcus Bailey from Wish TV, meteorologist, coming up at 5 o'clock with an update. Right now, Hammer, we have a special guest on the DriveHubler.com hotline.
New York Times best-selling author and all-around American badass. I think that's the best way to introduce Brad Taylor. Brad, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Now, for those who aren't familiar with your background, New York Times best-selling author, but also 21-year vet of the United States Army Infantry, retired lieutenant colonel, 8 years with the 1st Special Forces Operation Delta. So you like to take your life experiences and put them into your books. Tell me about the new one, Devil's Ransom.
Yeah, well, I actually don't put anything in the books that I've actually experienced because most of that stuff's classified. But you can't help but put your own experiences into a book. If you're going to write a book about riding a bicycle, you'd think about the last bike you rode. So
right.
It does infuse it, but I don't have anything, real world stuff in there. This book came about because I saw a story about a company in Israel called NRO made a malware program called Pegasus, which is zero click, and it basically turns any Android or iPhone into a listening device, turn the camera on, see where you're traveling, geolocate you, all that kind of stuff. And they were only selling it to what they called quote-unquote good guys. And now the Mexican drug cartel's using it, and I saw a story about UAE was using it with a thing called Project Raven, which is run by a bunch of ex-national security guys, NSA guys, that were American citizens, and they started targeting journalists and eventually started targeting American citizens themselves. As I was starting to do the research on that, I then ran into ransomware, and I thought, ransomware right now is a huge problem, but it's usually done through social engineering. Somebody's got to click on a bad link, someone's got to get tricked with a Google page or something like that. And I thought, if they made ransomware zero click like that Pegasus software, we'd be in a world of hurt. And that kind of started the story going.
We've talked to guys that are, security experts before, Brad, on hacking and cybersecurity. And did you run into anything where, like, the thing that surprised me when I was learning about some of this stuff, like when they get into the hospital systems or school districts or power companies, is that They have your information, they have your money, they got you on lockdown. These hackers, these ransomware people, but they also have a helpline. So in other words, if you're going to pay, and some of these hospital systems and power companies have paid, there's a helpline that you can call to if you're having problems with getting them the cryptocurrency or getting them the ransom, that you could call a helpline, and somebody's very polite and they will help you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the ransomware gangs, it's gotten so pronounced now that there are actual gangs who develop the malware but don't actually hack anybody. And then there's another gang that will rent the malware from the first gang, use it and they target life support systems. You mentioned some. When a hospital gets hit and all the patients are going to die, you're going to pay. And same, with the electrical grid, Colonial Pipeline hack, they hit the largest meat packers in the world on 2 different continents. They took down the country of Costa Rica for like 3 days by hitting the capital there.
We're speaking with Brad Taylor. The book is out. It's called The Devil's Ransom. It is now available. Previously, I know you get into, getting into character is the term like an actor would use. I don't know what the proper term is for an author, but you try to get the lay of the land before you write a book. Did this book take you anywhere specific?
Oh, yeah. We traveled all over the country of Croatia. There's not a spot in this book that I hadn't set my boots on. So, when Pike Logan, my main character, if he gets lost in Korčula, that's because I got lost in Korčula. I started out in Zagreb, rented a car, and just drove all the way down the coast, hitting every town that was there until I ended up in Dubrovnik, and then flew home from Dubrovnik.
And the opening of this new book, it deals with Afghanistan. Now, we go back almost a year and a half ago to the horrific debacle of what happened in Afghanistan, trying to withdraw. Is it fair to say that it's almost like when you watch those TV movies, ripped from the headlines, that's kind of in play here?
Yeah, I actually wasn't going to write about Afghanistan because it's kind of raw for me. It's raw for a lot of veterans who served there.
Yeah.
And I still kept up with it. I was following it minute by minute as it was going on. And I ran across a story about something called the Bactrian treasure, which is a real thing. So back in the late 70s, a Soviet archaeologist found this tomb, and inside the tomb was a bunch of gold from all over the Silk Road, Serbian daggers and Chinese emeralds and Greek stuff, and it was this huge treasure. Well, then the Soviets invaded Afghanistan, and then when they left, the treasure itself became kind of a big thing, kind of like the King Tut of Afghanistan. When they left, the treasure disappeared, and everybody just assumed the Soviets took it. That was it. They got it. Well, then we, fast forward 2001, we take out the Taliban, the government gets formed up, and this guy comes out of nowhere and says, hey, I got to show you guys something. And he unlocks a vault underneath the main bank inside Kabul, and he had hidden the treasure and not told a soul about it, and had been there the entire time. So now it goes on a King Tut tour of its own. It goes to China and Paris and San Francisco. It's on a world tour, ends up back in the presidential palace, and then we start to leave Afghanistan in a rapid manner, as we may remember, and the treasure disappeared again. And the Taliban were talking about, we're going to lop somebody's head off unless you tell us where this treasure is. And that piqued my interest enough that I was like, okay, I can open a scene with that.
Hey, Brad, we'll get back to the book in just a second. I want to ask you some questions about some real-life stuff that could happen with the nation's power grid and stuff. But I got to ask you, I mean, you have such a decorated career, 21-year veteran. Thank you for your service. You were part of Delta, popularly known as Delta Force. Did Chuck Norris play you in the Delta Force in that 86 movie? Is that where that came from?
That's my favorite movie. Rockets on the motorcycle, come on.
Rockets on the motorcycle. So, in other words, you're saying your experience in Delta Force probably nowhere near similar to the Hollywood version.
The Chuck Norris experience.
Hey, not anywhere near it.
So talk about your research in terms of how ransomware, how hackers could cripple this nation. Like when we were talking about the power grid, it's happened with pipelines, I believe, in the past couple of years.
We have some pipelines.
Yeah, it's happened. I don't know necessarily what happened with the FAA recently. I know Southwest obviously has some antiquated software problems, but how vulnerable is the nation's power grid to an attack like that?
It's kind of a good news, bad news story. The good news is the power grid we have is so ad hoc. It's not a central thing. There's an East Coast grid, West Coast grid. Texas has its own grid. and they're all kind of hodgepodge together. So it's almost impossible to take down our nation's power grid. But each one of those exchanges, the bad news is they all have antiquated systems, and they're easy to penetrate. So you would be able to knock out a significant portion of some cities, but you wouldn't be able to take down the whole grid just because we put it together so ad hoc. It just wouldn't jump the chain and go to the next one.
Brad, with your writings, have you ever ticked somebody off? Because you're writing about some things that are in the headlines. Again, it's not 100%. You're using a character, you've got stories, but at the same time, these are things that have kind of happened, ripped from the headlines. Have you ticked people off? Have you made people mad?
Yeah, I'm never going to Russia, I'll tell you that. I wrote Ghosts of War in 2014, which was, believe it or not, Putin. And I used his real name. I thought for sure my publisher would say, you can't use a real name. Nobody changed it. So I had Putin in there who was going to invade Ukraine.
Wow.
That was the whole plot line in 2014. And after I got done, Putin's a bad guy in the book, obviously. And I thought, well, I guess I'm not going to Russia anytime soon.
Well, yeah, they started that invasion in 2014, and look at where we're at now. I'm wondering what you think of what you're seeing out of Russia as somebody that worked in the that has been in the armed forces.
I'll tell you that the Ukraine really surprised me. Number one, I was actually on my last book tour a year ago, and I got asked a question about Ukraine, and I said, I don't think Putin's going in. I think it's a bluff. He does. They call them Zapad exercises. He does them once every 4 years or so. We had this huge massing on the border. Even in my book, Ghosts of War, I used the Zapad exercise as an excuse to mass on the border. And I thought, he's not going to go in. And then the question was, if he does go in, what happens? And I said, well, if he goes in, they're going to crush Ukraine because it doesn't matter how bad your army is. Mass counts. Mass means something. If you have 10 guys and I have one, that no matter how bad the 10 are, that means something. I was wrong on both counts. He went in, and Ukraine did a really, really good job defending it. The main thing that stuck with me was that they tried to seize the airfield right outside of Kyiv because they wanted a lily pad to go into Kyiv. If they'd got that airfield, Ukraine would have fallen. But somehow the Ukrainians, with pitchforks and sweatpants, kept them out of the airfield. We had the 40-mile-long convoy trying to get in, and they got obliterated. And next thing you know, they're on the run.
The Devil's Ransom is the new book, I believe, out today from Brad Taylor. Brad, who is Pike Logan and what is Task Force? And then I'm going to ask you a follow-up about your character that you write about Pike Logan.
Pike Logan's kind of an amalgamation of people I've served with. Okay. I like to say, people always say, are you Pike Logan? I say, no, I'm not Pike Logan. There's, if you looked at the PGA Tour, there's probably 1% of the planet that could play on the PGA Tour. There's Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. That's Pike Logan. There's a guy that's 100th on the money list. He's playing in the PGA Tour, but nobody knows his name. That's pretty much where I was.
And, okay, so my follow-up to that. So there are really people in the military. Like, I know Pike Logan is a fictional character, but there are real people that are highly skilled, highly trained, working in incredibly dangerous in environments. These are guys that you don't hear a lot about, that are either anonymous or undercover. They're really guys like your fictional character in the military.
Oh, yeah, I've served with them. I can tell you that right now. I commanded them. I mean, I was the commander of the unit, and the guys that I was leading were like Pike Logans. There are a bunch of them. Not as many as we need, but they're there.
Wow.
Brad Taylor, the book is out, The Devil's Ransom, a Pike Logan novel. Where can we get the book at?
It sounds like a TV commercial. You can get it wherever books are sold. So anywhere there's books being sold, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, wherever, it's there.
Brad, thank you so much for your service. Thank you for joining us here in Indianapolis. And again, the book sounds fantastic. I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, thank you. And if anybody wants to read an excerpt of that book or any of my books, they can go to my website at bradtaylorbooks.com and get a taste of what the book's about to begin with.
Thank you so much.
5.5%. Where can you get 5.5% on your money today? You're certainly not going to get it at the bank. And who knows what will happen next with the stock market. But for a limited time, you can get 5.5% guaranteed for 3 years. That's right. You can get 5.5% on your money guaranteed for 3 years. And it's backed by some of the largest, most trusted insurance companies in the world. To learn more, call Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy, at 317-972-9172. This is your chance to lock in a great interest rate before they start falling. Learn how you could get 5.5% on your money, guaranteed for 3 years. Call 317-972-9172. 317-972-9172.
You know, great things in business are never done by one person. They're always done by a team of people. And we've been talking about that Singer Financial is now Howard Bailey Financial, an Indiana-based retirement planning firm. And they are helping you with their retirement goals. If you want to retire with purpose, if you want to have time to enjoy life, make an appointment now with Howard Bailey Financial.
Whatever your vision of retirement is, whether that's staying in Indy, whether that's moving somewhere warm like Florida, is it full-on retirement? Is it a work optional lifestyle? Let the team from Howard Bailey help you out. They will deliver a customized, step-by-step framework that allows you to create the meaning in retirement. If you're ready to plan for your best retirement, go see Howard Bailey and you'll find out why everybody talks about the Howard Bailey difference. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities, LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here, sharing an amazing New Year offer with you from my friends at Hope Plumbing. For a limited time, Hope Plumbing will buy back your old water heater for $1,000 with the installation of a new tankless water heater. So if having endless hot showers and saving money on your gas bill is on your New Year's resolution list, call my friends at Hope Plumbing today and get your tankless water heater installed. Hope Plumbing is your neighborhood local honest plumbers. Visit them at hopeplumbing.com.
You know, when the weather gets really bad outside, I think of my dad, the best furnace and air conditioning guy I've ever known. I'm Larry from Howald Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing, and routinely people ask me if my dad taught me the heating business. And I say, no. He taught me how to treat people, how to respect their homes, their kids, and even their dog. I might be the best carrier service tech on the planet, but if I don't treat people right, I have nothing. So when you turn to the experts at Howald Heating for your comfort needs, you've taken a step into deep tradition and a culture built to make you happy. At Howald Heating, coming home never felt so good.
You don't have to go through yet another year with that knee pain or back pain. Hoosiers with chronic joint pain are getting real lasting relief from QC Kinetics. Tony Katz here, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. Their unique protocols use healing agents from your own body to target aching joints, repairing and restoring damaged tissue so you can move again with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. You got shoulder pain, excruciating hip pain. If you have any arthritis pain or lingering pain from an injury, don't let them operate on you and say no to the pain pills. Call QC Kinetics in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. See if their life-changing all-natural treatments can get you living your best life in this new year. I'm telling you, people right here in Indy are raving about these treatments, and appointments are available as soon as next week. Make 2023 the year you say goodbye to joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now in Eagle Creek and Greenwood, and coming soon to Carmel. Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN.
Emmer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
A B-Window $2,000 energy-saving credit plus federal tax credit and sale prices on windows, siding, and doors. No payments and no interest for 22 months.
Again, we're going to be speaking with Marcus Bailey, Wish TV 8 meteorologist, coming up here a little bit after 5 o'clock. Matt Baer, Pacers have a home game tonight, and from everything that we've been told, if you've got tickets to that game, and I think they're playing the Chicago Bulls tonight, you're going to be fine going to the game and coming home from the game. So with that being said, let's get people to the game.
You got it, Hammer. Right now, we're going to move to the south side. If you can avoid the intersection, Hanna Avenue at Shelby Street in that general area, there has been a small plane crash on the railroad tracks there on Weaver Avenue. Harrison Silcox with more at 5:02. Inbound 69 stopped at 106th Street down to 465 because of a crash. Campus Parkway closed both directions at I-69 also because of a crash. Traffic sponsored by B-Window. Now get a $2,000 energy saving credit and federal tax credit of B-Window, plus sale prices on windows, siding, and doors with 22 months, no interest or payments. BWindow.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Winter storm warning in effect beginning at 1 a.m. and going until 7 p.m. tomorrow. Right now, though, we're good. Sunshine and 43 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
Wow, that's really loud.
What kind of time? I should have asked you this off the air, James. What kind of time are we working with here? 55:30?
56:50.
Oh, 56:50. Okay, real quick, Hammer. There's a section on Reddit. I know you love Reddit. There's also some funny topics and stuff. There's a section on Reddit called Ask Women. And someone asked them to name the weirdest place a guy's ever taken them on a date. Some of the highlights include 2 weeks into dating, a guy took a girl to his grandpa's funeral and introduced her as his, quote, special friend. A guy drove a woman to a Taco Bell parking lot, and they watched the animated movie Sausage Party on his phone. Sounds like something you do.
Don't knock it until you've tried it. By the way, it totally worked.
Some creep took a woman to an adult bookstore and tried to get her to watch a movie with him in their gross theater room.
Oh, no.
A guy picked a woman up for dinner after she chose the restaurant. Then he drove the wrong direction for 30 minutes before she said anything. It turned out he didn't know where the place was and didn't want to admit it. Okay, that's dumb.
Yeah,
Let me see.
yeah. You're going to have to really wow me to beat Taco Bell Sausage Party guy.
How about this? A guy's supposed to take the chick bowling for their first date. Instead, he took her to his mom's house and helped decorate his mom's bedroom.
Yeah, but that's also not a porn theater, though. Like Taco Bell Sausage Party and porn theater, really, there's just something unsavory about those stories.
Let's see. A guy took a woman to an empty shipping container in the middle of nowhere for their first date, and he said he wanted to buy it for her and turn it into a house.
So that could have ended way different. Like that had like horror movie written all over it.
A guy took a woman to a strip club the first time they went out, and they tried to get strippers' numbers while he was out on the date with her.
Now, to be fair,
take some cojones.
Kevin Durant, there's a story, I think it was in the New York Post, that Kevin Durant of the Brooklyn Nets went on a date with someone, but also brought a stripper in case the date didn't work out. He had a backup date in case it didn't work out.
Oh, man, I had one of the worst. I did one of the worst things ever. When I, younger, my 20s, X103, took this chick that was way out of my league out. And one of our first dates was, I took her home and we watched Godfather 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
I mean, this is a chick that never seen Godfather, not interested in it at all, but I was trying to explain it to her.
That's like 7 hours worth of movie.
She'd know, we kind of made out, and that was it. That's all that came out of it. And never, I was supposed to pick her up on a date the next day, and she ghosted me.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
7 hours worth of mafia movies didn't do it?
Nope, not for her, it didn't.
Top story is next.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, every day is a great escape. With 35 miles of white sand, there's no better place to get away. So let's explore the secluded beaches of Fort DeSoto or paddle our way around Honeymoon Island. Let's kick back, kayak, and catch crimson sunsets. Let's trade snow boots for bathing suits. Let's make today and tomorrow a beach day. Let's shine. Plan your escape at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
When the weather turns severe, turn to the WIBC Storm Desk, presented by Technology Recyclers. Securely destroy electronic data. Visit tech-recyclers.com.
Home shows provide homeowners the deepest discounts of the year on remodeling projects. And right now, Window Nation is bringing the home show savings right into your house. 2 free windows with every 2 you buy, no limit. Plus, pay no interest for 60 months.
Use their free virtual visualizer at windownation.com/home show. Upload a picture of your house and try out hundreds of options online. Get design tips from the experts and learn how Window Nation's trained installation specialists have helped over 150,000 homes with over 96% customer satisfaction rates. But Remember, these once-a-year home show savings are for a very limited time. Call Window Nation today, 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com/home show. Get 2 windows free with every 2 that you buy. Pay no interest for 60 months. That's 5 full years. 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com/home show.
I had a nighttime routine for my frequent heartburn. I would drink milk, I would sleep upright with more pillows, but that painful burning stayed. So I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine. With just 1 pill each morning, Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid production, blocking heartburn day and night. Now I have a new nighttime routine. I call it sleeping.
1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn. With Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
The Indianapolis Home Show, January 20th through 29th at the Indiana State Fairgrounds and Event Center. 10 days only for great deals, new ideas, and practical advice with trusted local experts. Tour the centerpiece home crafted by custom container builders. Plus, see HGTV stars and twin sisters Leslie Davis and Lindsay Lamb from Unsellable Houses. From kitchens and baths to landscaping and more. Don't miss the Indianapolis Home Show. Save on tickets at IndianapolisHomeshow.com. Discount courtesy of Central Indiana Chevy dealers.
Coming up in 2 minutes, what IMPD is saying about a small plane crash on the south side, what to expect from tomorrow's winter storm, and how Indy's mayor wants to reduce gun violence in the capital city. All that and more coming up after Fox News Radio from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. It's 44 degrees downtown. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 5 o'clock.
The president takes a victory lap. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Days into his 3rd year in office, President Biden hosting Democratic congressional leaders at the White House.
We got a lot done in the last couple of years, and we got a lot more to do, a lot more to finish what we've already done.
He has said he's willing to work with Republicans, and the White House says he does plan to meet with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who's pushing for spending cuts as part of a possible debt limit deal.
I'm very reasonable. I'm very sensible. All I'm asking for is a responsible debt limit increase.
McCarthy telling Fox Business that means finding common ground on a path to balancing the budget. More classified documents turning up, this time at the home of former Vice President Mike Pence.
The Pence attorney confirms to Fox News about a dozen classified documents were found inside Pence's Indiana home last week, and both the Justice Department and FBI are reviewing that material. Part of the review includes finding out how and why those documents made it to Indiana.
Fox's David Spunt, attorneys say Pence requested a review of records after documents were found at President Biden's home and a former office. The White House referring more questions to the Justice Department and White House lawyers amid special counsel probes of Biden and Trump documents. The Oscar race begins, and the sci-fi indie hit Everything Everywhere All at Once is in the lead with 11 nominations, including one for its star, Michelle Yeoh.
It's also up for Best Picture along with The Banshees of Inisherin, The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, Elvis, All Quiet on the Western Front, Women Talking, Triangle of Sadness, and box office blockbuster, Avatar, The Way of Water.
Fox's Lillian Wu, The Banshees of Inisherin has 9 nominations in all. Elvis has 8. Angela Bassett gets the first ever acting nod for a Marvel movie for her supporting role in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What they know about the crash: 43 degrees, mostly sunny downtown, all clear on your radar, low of 32 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox for the Michaelis Corporation. Here's what's trending at 5:02. A small plane has crashed on the south side of Indianapolis on a railroad track near Weaver Avenue.
We do know of at least one person inside the vehicle. That person has been pronounced deceased here at the scene.
Sergeant Janae Cook with IMPD says it's unclear where the plane came from, where it was going, or how it crashed. The FAA is investigating. There's no concern over chemical leaks. Matt Bear will let you know what this means for traffic in a few minutes. The snow we're going to get tomorrow is going to be heavy, says Jason Puma with the National Weather Service.
Also, this is going to be a very heavy and wet snow. Good for making snowballs, good for making snowman, but really uncomfortable to shovel because it'll be heavy and wet.
Indianapolis is expected to get somewhere between 5 to 8 inches of snow, but more is possible depending on where you live. A winter storm warning goes into effect at 1 a.m. tomorrow. Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett discussed this year's plan to reduce gun violence. He says 2022 saw a 16% decrease in criminal homicides, the largest drop in years, if not ever. Increased funding for more police and crime-fighting technology is what made the difference.
It's also been made possible due to the work of our community partners like the MLT Outreach Center, who are working with our young people to ensure they stay on the right path to get an education, graduate, and fulfill their American dream, which is robbed from so many in the area where we live right now.
IMPD Assistant Chief Chris Bailey saying that efforts by police would be worthless without community help. One man was found stabbed to death this morning around 1, just south of the Circle Center Mall near the intersection of Illinois and Georgia Streets. IMPD arrested Nicholas Radford later this morning. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office will make the final charging decision for what comes next for Radford. A judge has made his decision in regard to the jury that will determine Richard Allen's fate. Sasha Nixon reports.
Allen has been accused of the Delphi murders of Abby Williams and Libby German. Now, Judge Francis Gohl has determined that all of the jurors hearing his case must come from Allen County. Allen's lawyers were hoping that jurors would come from counties far removed from Delphi's Carroll County. The man will have a bail hearing on February 17th. The trial itself will take place in Carroll County. Sasha Nixon, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:04.
You've undoubtedly heard of the calm before the storm. Well, Michaelis is the calm after the storm. More than 3 decades of restoring damage from wind, rain, and hail. They've got your back, not to mention your front, side, and roof. It's why home and business owners beat a path to Michaelis' door, because it's always answered around the clock with welcome arms. Your port in the storm. From site security and tarping services to complete restoration work, they can handle anything Mother Nature throws your way. Seasoned and trustworthy pros who are never deterred by a little wind and rain, or a mother load of it for that matter. Water, storms, fire, and foundations. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
With traffic on the 5s at 5:05, here's Matt Bear.
All right, Harrison, on the plane crash on the south side. Stay clear of the area around Hannah Avenue and Shelby Street. That's near where the plane went down at 4151 Weaver Avenue, just southeast of that intersection. Shelby, Hannah, avoid if you can. Inbound 69 still stopped. 106th Street down to 82nd Street because of a crash that has moved out of the interstate to the right shoulder. Also looking at a crash, 86th Street at Keystone Avenue. And then southbound 465, slow from 74 to Arlington. Traffic is sponsored by Fresh Time Market. At Fresh Time Market this week, save on certified Angus beef boneless New York strips sold whole in bag, just $5.99 a pound now through January 24th. Get real. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
For tonight, rain and snow chances increase after midnight. By 3 a.m., we should switch over to heavy snow. Snow showers will be possible through lunch on Wednesday. High temperatures on Wednesday in the mid-30s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
On 93 WIBC.
So let's rock it!
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there. Winter storm warning for nearly all of Indiana. Travel hazards are expected. Looking at like 4 to 12 inches of snow, Hammer, depending on where you are in the state.
Listen, if we're going to do this, let's do that right.
All right.
Fire up the alert. Here we go.
I got to get the bread and milk.
Warning.
They said snow.
Weather alert.
I got to get the bread and milk.
Snow is coming to Indy.
I got to get the bread and milk. Oh, my God.
Always appreciate Marcus Bailey, meteorologist for Wish TV, coming back on the air with us, giving us an update. Any changes? I know you were on the air with us yesterday, Marcus. Any changes from the forecast yesterday that are significant compared to what they are now?
I'll be honest with you, and with a system like this, when you're dealing with kind of a fine line, surprisingly, no. The winter storm warning kind of set up exactly where we put that 4 to 8 inch swath. And you mentioned that there could be a few isolated areas that could be a little bit higher if you get some heavier rates of snow. So, no, Nigel, no significant changes since yesterday, which is pretty surprising considering the track. I mean, if this would have swayed 20 miles north or 20 miles south, it could have made a huge difference on both precip type and snowfall amounts.
So, Marcus, how are things going to go down the next 6 hours here?
Okay, so the rest of your evening here, your Tuesday evening is quiet. I don't think we're going to see any precipitation in the state, the entire state, until around midnight.
So if you're going to that Pacers game tonight, Marcus, if you're going to go see the Pacers and Bulls, when you're leaving, everything should still be good.
You should still be good. You should still be good. Could there be a few sprinkles, like liquid, rain sprinkles? Possibly, but, I think that's kind of the early onset. But look, I think when this thing gets going, and I think it's probably going to be closer to midnight or maybe a little bit after that here in the Indy Metro, we're briefly going to start this off as rain. We're mild enough for that. And then we really will quickly flip the switch. Sometime probably around 2 or 3 in the morning is when we go all out snow. And when we flip the switch, it's going to be pretty heavy snow.
So what you're saying is all the pre-salting I'm going to do when I get home is going to be washed away by rain before the snow comes?
Well, I don't know if we're going to have a long duration rain.
Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. But in saying that, this is going to be one of those snows that, and to your point, this isn't going to be like your fine, powdery, easy to blow around snow. I mean, this is going to be like sopping wet, heavy, super saturated snow, right? Like you can pack it in really quick. And that's going to be pretty much through the duration of this event. But again, we're going to flip that switch probably around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And as I mentioned earlier to you guys, I think we get this in a couple of waves. Wave number 1 will be overnight through around probably 6 a.m. or so. And then we may actually kind of get a little bit of a mixture of sleet and snow. It kind of lightens up maybe a little bit. But I think even at that point, guys, we're going to be talking probably about 3, maybe even 4 inches of snowfall on the ground by that point as we get up for the morning drive. And then wave number 2 will be in here probably in that 8 a.m. time frame to noon or maybe a little bit after that. And that's going to be another period of heavy snowfall where we could get another 3 or 4 plus inches of snowfall that will tack onto that. So a couple of ways that you need to be worried about. But obviously it's going to highly impact the morning drive and any traveling you got to do at any point tomorrow morning.
Marcus, what kind of winds are we looking at here? Because in the past, you could have just a little bit of snow, but if those winds kick up, they start blowing it around all over the place, makes visibility a problem. Are we looking at winds being an issue?
Yes, like not exceptionally strong. Like, I'm thinking back to, the most recent type of wound up storm like this would have been the Friday storm before Christmas. We all remember how cold it got. It was super windy. I don't think we're talking winds like that, but I do think you could probably get gusts around 30 miles per hour. Now, that's going to kind of blow that snow sideways when it's coming down. But as I previously mentioned, Hammer, this is going to be a really overly saturated snow. So I'm not overly concerned with major blowing and drifting because it's going to be so weighted down by the moisture content. But certainly you're going to kind of have that as the snow is falling, you've got gusts up to around 25 to 30 miles per hour. Certainly could make visibilities extremely difficult with the heavy rates of snow we expect overnight and then again during the morning hours tomorrow.
Yeah. So one more time too. So early morning hours, AM drive to work is going to be bad. The time period, like when Hammer and I come to work, it's like 10 or 11 o'clock. That's not going to be good either. And talk about afternoon drive back home tomorrow. It still might be a problem.
So I think there's still going to be some snow around, and I don't want to say it's going to be great. I think there's still going to be, it's going to come with its own problems in the afternoon. However, I do think the snow rates lighten up. You're still probably going to have enough that coats the road. You're still going to have many slick spots. I think the one thing that kind of works to our advantage here is, unlike a lot of systems we usually turn very cold on the back end of these storm systems. We're not. We're going to hover right around or maybe even just above freezing all day long tomorrow, guys. So what that means is, the plows are going to be out working all morning, all day, even as the snow's falling and treating the roads. Those chemicals work a lot better when it's closer to freezing. So that's one thing that's to our advantage. They're going to be trying to clear those roads off as well. So while the roads may not be perfect, I do think they're going to be substantially better. I would assume anyway, substantially better than what we would expect that we're going to have for our morning drive, because we will be in the middle of the heavy snowfall as people are heading off to work tomorrow morning.
Marcus Bailey is a meteorologist for WISH TV 8, our news gathering partners. Now, Marcus, the last time we got some accumulating snow, we dealt with it. It was super cold. But then like 4 or 5 days later, the temperatures warmed up and all of the snow melted away pretty quickly. Are we going to have anything like that, or is it going to be cold, and is this stuff going to be on the ground for a while?
It may be around. I mean, I think there's going to be some melting going on because, like I said, we're not getting a rush of Arctic air on the back end that we typically see with some of these bigger storm systems that come in. You get some much colder Canadian air on the wraparound, but we don't see that, at least initially here. Now, we may struggle to get above freezing on Thursday, and we'll have some scattered snow showers. I think I had a high of around 31 on Thursday, but I got us back into the mid-30s on Friday. So there's going to be some melting going on. And even this weekend, I think I had a high of 37 both days, Saturday and Sunday. Now, that said, it does appear that we're going to start flipping the pattern a little bit. And what I mean by that is, for the first time in a while, I think we're going to turn much colder, and that could come as early as Monday. It looks like we may have another system that brings some rain and then flipping the snow on Sunday, and highs may only be in the 20s next week. So if we don't get everything melted, say, by Sunday, whatever snow is left on the ground is probably going to be here for a little while, because it does look like the longer-term pattern for the end of January does look pretty chilly.
All right, Marcus, one more time in case somebody just got in their car. We're looking at tonight after midnight. That's when the snow is going to come down. And then the morning drive tomorrow, it's going to be a mess. Midday could be another round coming in. And then this winter storm expires at 7. Did I miss anything there?
Nope, you hit everything right. Again, just, use caution. I know a lot of people, you guys, myself, we don't get 2-hour delays, and a lot of people don't either. So just give yourself lots and lots of time and room when you're heading out tomorrow morning, because it is going to be pretty rough, and really our first significant morning commute with snow like this. So, take your time to get where you need to go. And hopefully the afternoon, while it won't be perfect, should be hopefully a little bit better. We're going to have coverage tomorrow. Matt Baer is going to be in the traffic center. You're going to have coverage on WISH TV. What time do you get started? I'll be there at 4 a.m. to kind of get things rolling here, and we'll be right in the heart of it, guys. Marcus Bailey, WISH TV 8. Marcus, thank you.
Thanks, Marcus.
Right.
And Matt Baer, we talked about this earlier. You are going to be a valuable player tomorrow around here. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be a mess. There are going to be snowplow trucks out there, and you're going to be here for it all, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing the whole thing, and this is what we do. The busier it gets, the better we get. So we are ready for this, and we will be here bright and early to bring you all of the, well, hopefully not chaos, but we know better. Inbound 69 stops 116th Street down to 82nd Street because of an earlier crash. It is pushed from the interstate and moved to the right shoulder. Still stop traffic, though. Inbound 65 jam-packed 29th to the north splits. Southwest side southbound 465 stop traffic from Sam Jones to 70, then slow to the White River. Traffic sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store, staplesconnect.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Again, if you want to go out tonight to dinner, maybe watch a movie, head downtown to watch the Pacers, you're going to be able to do that. I would highly suggest going out and doing something tonight, because tomorrow, that's going to be a different story. 43 right now at the American Standard Heating Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
Does runaway inflation and reckless spending in Washington have you worried about the security of your hard-earned retirement savings? If so, it's time to call the precious metals experts at Fisher Capital. Fisher Capital specializes in helping investors like you diversify their retirement portfolio and preserve wealth with physical gold and silver. Whether you're looking to acquire coins or bars, open a gold IRA, or just want to learn more about the advantages of owning precious metals, Fisher Capital will equip you with the knowledge to make an informed decision that's right for you and your family. Call Fisher Capital today at 800-376-4333. That's 800-376-4333. Mention WIBC when you call to get a free no-obligation Education Investor Kit. 800-376-4333. 800-376-4333. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Don't lose another night's sleep worrying about the security of your retirement savings. Call Fisher Capital. 800-376-4333.
The new year is here. Time for a change. Start a recession-resistant new career in the high-demand IT field with My Computer Career. In just months. Already in IT? Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers nationwide are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus. And financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill. Make this your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu.
5.5%. Where can you get 5.5% on your money today? You're certainly not going to get it at the bank. And who knows what will happen next with the stock market. But for a limited time, you can get 5.5% guaranteed for 3 years. That's right. You can get 5.5% on your money guaranteed for 3 years. And it's backed by some of the largest, most trusted insurance companies in the world. To learn more, call Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy, at 317-972-9172. This is your chance to lock in a great interest rate before they start falling. Learn how you could get 5.5% on your money, guaranteed for 3 years. Call 317-972-9172. 317-972-9172.
2023's here, and does your home have a New Year's resolution? Well, if it's like mine, it could probably use a fresh beginning and a professional clean. In my book, there's nobody better than the professionals at Zero Res. They're my go-to team for cleaning carpets, hardwood floors, ceramic tile and grout, and even area rugs to give it that smart, lasting clean. They always have our place looking its best, and Zero Res is the only company I trust to clean my home. Their proprietary technology cleans your carpets without flooding the carpet padding. That means I can have my house looking its best with dry carpets in just a few hours, not days. Their team of knowledgeable technicians always walk me through the entire carpet cleaning process to make sure I'm completely satisfied before they leave. So start your 2023 off right and give Zero Res a call today to make an appointment. Right now, when you mention WIBC, you get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $139. Call 388-5141 or schedule your appointment at ZeroResIndy.com with promo code ZeroRes1 and treat yourself to a smarter, lasting clean.
A B-Window $2,000 energy-saving credit plus federal tax credit and sale prices on windows, siding, and doors. No payments and no interest for 22 months.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
All right, Hammer, you know more about this one than I do. I did not know there was a possible brewing feud between former Indiana Pacer Jalen Rose and sports commentator Stephen A. Smith.
So there's a lot going on here. Now, we'll get to the personal stuff here in just a moment.
Jalen Rose works for ESPN now.
Correct.
As a commentator.
And he does a lot of stuff with ABC, which is owned by ESPN, all under the Disney umbrella, does some of their NBA coverage. So Jalen Rose put out some very passive-aggressive tweets, clearly about Stephen A. Smith, but he didn't tag or mention Stephen A. Smith. So the first one, this is a tweet from Jalen Rose, quote, "So glad I didn't make a career of content pretending to fake troll the Cowboys." Because if you know anything about Stephen A. Smith, he's a big Eagles fan, and Michael Irvin, the playmaker, former Cowboy, is on his television show. So he runs all kinds of trash about the Cowboys. Mean tweets and videos.
And when Skip Bayless was on ESPN,
right?
He's a huge Cowboys fan. They used to go at it pretty heavy.
So Stephen A. Smith is like the Philly guy, so he trolls the Cowboys all the time. So Jalen Rose tweets, "So glad I didn't make a career of content pretending to fake troll the Cowboys." After a couple people called him out saying, "Hey, tag the guy that you're trying to be a tough guy against," Rose tweets again, "No @ needed. Damn near all shows selling clowns this like it's quality content. You da fool." I have no idea what that means.
Now, again, they both work for ESPN.
Correct.
Right?
Now, this one might be the one that somebody has a conversation with in the HR department at ESPN. Jalen Rose, quote, preying on the audience being dumb and lazy and low-hanging fruit. All part of this tweet storm against Stephen A. Smith. Now, you're probably asking yourself, where did this come from? You know, Jalen Rose is a Michigan guy. He's a Lions fan. Why would he care about the Cowboys being trolled? Has nothing to do with that. It's everything about Stephen A. Smith, because there are rumors that Stephen A. Smith is the reason Jalen Rose's marriage to ESPN host Molly Karam fell apart. Guess who the host is on Stephen A. Smith's program?
Yeah, it's Molly.
Molly. In a GQ interview, Jalen Rose was asked about that. He says, quote, I'm not here to speak for what he does in his personal life or what she does in her personal life. We still 100. I would just say for the people that thought we parted ways because they have a relationship, I've got swampland in Detroit to sell you. So he's not on board saying that's the reason his marriage fell apart. But there's a lot of folks that say Stephen A. Smith and Molly are an item now, and that's rubbing Jalen Rose the wrong way.
That's obvious. It's got to be. I mean, Jalen Rose is going after one of the highest paid sports commentators and writers in the industry.
Probably the franchise at ESPN right now.
Absolutely. And for another guy within the organization to go after him like that on Twitter, and it's pretty cowardly not to put him in the tweets, not to tag him.
Right.
Just do it. Just go do it.
Stephen A. Smith, your thoughts on Jalen Rose?
Stay off the damn weed.
I want to go back to something that Jalen Rose put in a tweet. Quote, preying on the audience being dumb. All right. Jalen Rose calling somebody dumb is like OJ telling somebody you need to be better to women. Jalen Rose, for all of the amazing things he did in a Pacer uniform, quite possibly one of the dumbest people in sports. And I've got proof to back this up here because he loves to be a hot take machine. This is what Jalen Rose said on the air when a lot of the protests were happening in the Summer of Love.
Here's the thing. The Black Lives Matter protests was actually taking place because Jacob Blake was shot and killed by police officers.
Well, that's an interesting take. That's a great way to put that out there, except for there's one problem. Jacob Blake's alive. Jacob Blake was not killed by the police, Jalen Rose. He's very much alive.
He got a settlement, didn't he?
Unbelievable. Yeah. And then, of course, there was the Celebrity Jeopardy incident where it was just like something from Saturday Night Live. Heading into Final Jeopardy, Jalen Rose was down $1,300. He was minus $1,300. They gave him just like a charity $1,000 just so he could play. This was an example of some of the brilliance that came from Jalen Rose when the question was clearly asking for a state.
This New England state is known for chowder, old money, and being the home of TV's Gilmore Girls. Jalen.
What is New England?
No.
New England's not a state! I don't know what they teach at Michigan, but I'm telling you, they need to revamp their ways of teaching things because, damn, Jalen Rose is dumber than a box of rocks.
Didn't she say New England in the question? Did I hear that right?
Play the question one more time, the Celebrity Jeopardy question for Jalen Rose.
This state is known for chowder, old money,
this
and being
New
the
England
home
state.
of TV's Gilmore Girls.
She clearly says, this New England state. Jalen Rose, what is New England? No, you moron. One, it's not a state, and two, she just said it. But Jalen Rose is going to go on Twitter and call people dumb. Stop.
I mean, I'm assuming the answer is Massachusetts.
Correct.
Right? Okay, just making sure.
Correct.
This New England state. They in New England.
Minus 1,300 in Celebrity Jeopardy. Now, you hear the types of questions they have. This isn't like the regular Jeopardy where they're giving you categories like particle physics and, aerodynamics.
Neuroscience, yeah.
This is the noise a doggy makes. Like, these are the questions you get, and Jalen Rose was still minus $1,300. Keeping it in the sports world here, Nige, Jim Gray, longtime sports commentator, he does a podcast with Tom Brady. It's called Let's Go. It's Tom Brady's podcast. Jim Gray's kind of the host, the anchor of it.
Facilitates it, yeah.
Right. So Jim Gray asked Tom Brady the $1 million question. What's your future?
Do you have any type of a timetable as to what you might want to do regarding your football career?
Jim, if I knew what I was going to do, I'd have already done it. Okay? I'm taking it a day at a time.
I sense you're antagonized by the question.
You're scratching. I appreciate your asking. Thank you.
So, are you okay with Brady's answer?
It sounds he's getting a little surly there with his co-host, Jim Gray.
Right. Like, play that answer one more time, please, James. Because listen to Tom Brady. Like, it's a little bit over the top, I think.
Jim, if I knew what I was going to do, I'd have already done it. Okay? I'm taking it a day at a time.
So next time my wife tells me, hey, what do you want to do for dinner tonight? Look, if I bleeping knew, I'd already be bleeping doing it. We're taking it one meal at a time around here.
Sounds like he's getting a little annoyed with the question.
Oh, cry me a river.
Yeah, I know. But didn't Jim Gray, didn't he have some controversy with Pete Rose?
Yes.
Remember that interview he did? It was after a Cincinnati Reds thing or something, man.
So, no, it was at Yankee Stadium or something with the All-Star game. They had like the greatest players all come out and get recognition. And Pete Rose got the all clear from baseball to participate in that. And, he goes out on the field and the fans give him a standing ovation. Wow, Pete Rose, back at a baseball ballpark. So Jim Gray goes up to him and, man, he's just grilling him.
Yeah.
He's in his face, man.
That's
and
right.
Like the Yankees won the game. And afterwards, the Yankee players were like, yeah, we don't want to talk to you. We saw what you did to Pete, so we're good here.
I forgot about that. Wow.
All right, coming up next, this is going to be fun. Taylor Riggs from Fox Business is going to join us. We got a lot of ground to cover with Taylor. We're going to talk a little bit about the national debt, her new program at Fox Business, and everything and in between. That's coming up right after we take a look at the news with Harrison Silcox.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Why you should avoid the south side. 42 degrees, cloudy in downtown Indy. You've got a clear radar. The low tonight right at 32 degrees. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:30. One person died in a small plane crash this afternoon on Indy's south side. The plane was found on some railroad tracks near the University of Indianapolis.
There isn't any type of chemical spills or anything along with that comes with normal crashes.
Sergeant Janae Cook with IMPD says the FAA is investigating. It's unclear how the crash happened or where the plane came from. Matt Bear will let you know what this means for traffic in a few minutes. By now, you've heard about the winter storm that's supposed to arrive in Indiana late tonight.
We're really expecting anywhere between 5 and 9 to 10 inches of snow.
Jason Puma with the National Weather Service. The snow totals are a little bit less in southern Indiana. Winter storm warning starts tomorrow morning at 1. It lasts until 7 Wednesday evening for most of central Indiana. Over 60 trucks and 100 members from the Department of Public Works will be out tonight. They'll work 12-hour shifts starting at 11. They're going to be treating roads before and after the snow starts falling. The Senate Minority Leader is handing off the debt ceiling issue to President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
So I think the final solution to this particular episode lies between Speaker McCarthy and the president.
Kentucky Republican Mitch McConnell said he's doubtful a debt ceiling measure from the Democrat-controlled Senate would pass the Republican-controlled House. President Biden is urging Congress to pass a bill banning assault weapons.
I'm asking you all to send that to my desk as quickly as you can.
His comments were made before meeting with congressional Democrats at the White House. They also come after 2 mass shootings happened in California just days apart. Indy's Mayor Joe Hogsett met with community leaders to discuss gun violence reduction plans for this year, but also to highlight the work that's already being done.
Last year, criminal homicides were down 16%. Now, that's triple the rate of the decline nationally. That decline in criminal homicides has continued into 2023 throughout the course of the first 24 days of January.
He says the plan moving forward is to keep up the good work and focus on neighborhood outreach programs for at-risk people. With traffic at 5:32, here's Matt Bear.
All right, Harrison, about that plane crash on the south side. It's on Weaver Avenue. That's going to be to the southeast of Shelby Street. and Hannah Avenue. If you could avoid the area for now, that would be great. The investigation is ongoing. Inbound 69 stops at 116th Street down to 82nd. Crash cleanup continues on the right shoulder. Eastbound 465 stop and go traffic after Meridian over to Allisonville Road. Inbound 65 jams 29th Street to the north split at eastbound 70 stop and go from Belmont to Meridian, Illinois. Crash at 38th at Michigan Road near Newfields and crash 86 at Keystone Avenue. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indy Decorative Concrete patio. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts, changing the way Indy thinks about concrete. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
For tonight, rain and snow chances increase after midnight. By 3 a.m., we should switch over to heavy snow. Snow showers will be possible through lunch on Wednesday. High temperatures on Wednesday in the mid-30s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
It's the Hammer and Nigel show. That's Jason Hammer over there. My name is Nigel. We'll go straight to the drivehubler.com hotline and bring on co-host of The Big Money Show, which just debuted on Fox Business Network yesterday, Taylor Riggs on the hotline. Taylor, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. We are day 2 of our show, and we're just thrilled. Well,
I want to get to your show, and I definitely want to see how you're feeling about the economy here in 2023. But Hammer, I was in the studio earlier, and I had the show on mute, and I just kind of looked at. Were you guys mixing and drinking cocktails on the second day of the show? Did I look at that wrong, or I had it on mute, so I couldn't really tell.
Okay. So the goal is to make finance fun,
yes.
Right? And everyone thinks inflation is so boring, but we're talking about the price of everything going up, including the price of a mocktail. So if you want to go out and spend on a cocktail, on average, it's like $18. A mocktail is still $12. So it was a great example of inflation is everywhere. You cannot escape it no matter what.
People are paying out the wazoo for drinks that don't even have any alcohol in them. Is that what the segment was? That's unbelievable. Wow.
Inflation is real. I'm telling you. And long gone are the days of just a seltzer and cranberry. It's all these new craft. Yeah. And what's crazy is it's all these small business owners, too. They're making all these craft mocktails, but you have to pay for it, like everything else in this world.
Well, tell us about the big debut of your show. It's called The Big Money Show, Fox Business on weekdays. This is day number 2, and then we'll get into the more in the economy here in just a minute.
Yeah, for me, when I hear big money, I think all of the big Wall Street money. I came from a little bit of that big institutional background of following what everyone on Wall Street was doing. The individual investor can still make money and can still win. So I'm hoping that our show, when we think about the big money, following the money, follow what that big money is doing. And I hope that we can bring our audience some really smart, fun investing advice. And they feel like at the end of that hour, they can walk away learning something a little bit new and also maybe having a nice investing idea to carry with them.
Now, Taylor, before we dive into the market and the economy, taking a look at big picture here, it feels like the story of our national debt and where this country is with that is kind of flying under the radar because we're hearing about, classified documents. We're hearing about the border. But how much this country is in debt feels like that's a big deal that's not really being talked about enough.
Yeah, well said. So, look, we just hit the debt ceiling this week, but of about $31 trillion. Thankfully, I think the Treasury is going to put in place some, quote, extraordinary measures, which will get us through until about summer. There's some good and some bad news here. From an economic perspective, this is a time when we can really look at spending, what $31 trillion means for the economy, for this country. The good news is most analysts and economists I speak to say that there is no way that the U.S. would default on its debt, that it's so irresponsible and really hopeful that we would come to an agreement before that were to happen. From a policy perspective, I think it's important that this is the time for legislatures to have a conversation, figure out how we think about balancing our books. Do we need to rein in spending? What is responsible spending? What does that look like? But you're right that it becomes sort of this big, complicated, and in a way, boring topic. But there are huge ramifications. I mean, long term, if you think about, there was a Penn Wharton study that said by 2050, you could have 225% debt to GDP. If we were to get there long term, that's not good. It just means that you have to print more money, which causes more inflation, which devalues your currency. So I think big picture long term, now is the time that we really need to start talking and tackling these issues to make sure we don't get to that place 30 years from now.
Speaking with Taylor Riggs, co-host of the Big Money Show, Fox Business. So what are the big money guys saying? What are the big banks saying? Like, what's more of a concern? Is it inflation or is it recession at this point?
Good question. So a few weeks ago, I spoke with the president of the New York Federal Reserve, John Williams. What is fascinating is inflation is the number one priority. I'm not sure he even mentioned the word recession. They are so focused on bringing down inflation because you can't have a strong, healthy, functioning economy if you don't have prices under control. So clearly inflation will be the priority. The problem is it comes at the expense of the economy. So if you want to bring down inflation, you are purposefully cooling the economy, which might push us into a recession. So all the big economists on the street are certainly forecasting, maybe the word I hear right now is mild recession. So I certainly have been so scarred from 2008. It would look nothing like 2008.
Yeah, are we at that level yet?
No, not a chance.
Okay,
when you think about leverage in the system, debt levels on the consumer's balance sheet, debt levels on corporate balance sheets, we are nowhere near there. So the good news is recessions are, unfortunately, a healthy, normal part of a business cycle. You need them every few years as a reset.
It's so funny. Like with the economy and finance, I swear up is down, down is up. I could have sworn I heard the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, the other day basically said, I'm paraphrasing, we need more unemployment. Mm-hmm. And I'm scratching my head because I like that these numbers come out and I'm like, oh, good, people are back to work. But that's, we're not going to see a fall in the interest rates, right, until we see a little bit more unemployment.
You're spot on. So you need higher unemployment, cool spending to lower inflation. So the Federal Reserve has said that they would tolerate a little bit of an uptick in the unemployment rate because, frankly, that is the only way to start cooling off this economy. Remember, this economy was way overheated. You had massive fiscal stimulus. You had massive monetary stimulus from the Federal Reserve. So we're now just trying to rein all of that in.
Taylor Riggs, our guest from Fox Business. Taylor, I'm old enough to remember when I was told this was going to be transitory, this was going to be temporary, everybody just relax, we'll have just a little bit of inflation, like diet inflation, and then everything's going to be fine. You mentioned the word forecast earlier, and I think anytime people talk with money and you're talking about the economy, that's the key word here, forecast. How long do you think we're going to be in this situation of high inflation? Can you give me a guess?
Great question. And the tricky part is, if you think about sort of the headline inflation numbers that we got that peaked at 9%, getting them down from 9 to 5% wasn't that hard. The problem is pulling that down from 5% to 2%, which is really the target of what you want in a healthy economy. So the thing I think that keeps me up at night is not pulling inflation down. It's how long it's going to take. And do we get stuck at 3% inflation? Do we get stuck at 4% inflation? Or can we really bring it back down to 2%? And what is the pain that it's going to take to get us down to 2%? So when you think about the forecast, that is what is on economists' mind. We know we can get inflation down, but how far and how fast? And frankly, we haven't really done this since the 70s or the 80s. So we're in a little bit of a brave new world here.
So, Taylor, I don't know if you've seen the original Top Gun movie, 1986, Tom Cruise. There's a scene in this movie where one of the flight commanders is angry and he's yelling, "I want some butts!" So, with that being said, who do we blame for all of this? How did we get in this situation? If we want some butts, who do we yell at for all of this?
I need to go back and rewatch that movie. You're making it sound so fun. Although I saw the remake, it was good.
I loved it.
Yes.
Loved it.
But to your question, I think there was a host of things. Some of it was supply chain issues. When China shut down, they shut down manufacturing, they shut down their ports. We couldn't get anything. Remember, we were trying to buy a package on Amazon and it was gone for 3 weeks. It just wouldn't show up. So prices were increased in part because there were massive supply chain issues. Part of those are starting to ease. So supply chain is looking a little bit healthier. But you can also blame, frankly, a lot of the fiscal stimulus. I would argue a lot of that stimulus from the Senate, the Congress, the executive branch was needed when times were really hard. But then we got a lot of extra $1 trillion. It's so stimulative for this economy and drives inflation. And then you also had monetary stimulus, which comes from the Federal Reserve. I think a lot of economists would argue they kept interest rates at zero for way too long. They were denying inflation. They said it was transitory. When you and I went to the grocery store, and we knew for a fact that this inflation was not coming down anytime soon. So I really feel like it was a combination of all of these things that went wrong at the same time. And we were just all too slow to rein in the money. Once you spend it, it's hard to rein it back in.
The new show, The Big Money Show, Fox News. Taylor Riggs is co-host. I say, here's what I say, because I know you guys are like the new kids on the block there, but you need to make your mark. You need to come in strong. You need to go, sneak into Gutfeld's office and and hide all his alcohol. You need to go into, sneak into Jesse Waters' office and TP his desk or something like that, just to make it known that you're not taking any crap from him.
Announce your presence with authority.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to make a name for myself by throwing toilet paper in everyone's office. Great suggestion.
You know what? When you say it out loud, maybe it wasn't so great.
Bad idea.
The Big Money Show, Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock on Fox Business. Taylor Riggs. Taylor, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show. We're coming right back.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday morning at 8. Learn the answers to frequently asked financial questions and get the latest investment news to help you get the most of your money. Visit creativeplanning.com/radio.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-200-1966. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-200-1966. That's 800-200-1966 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
Ooh la la. OMG. Wowza. What will they say when they open your Valentine's Day gift from Shane Company? Visit us today. We have beautiful jewelry crafted by our in-house design team. Unique looks you won't find anywhere else. Like our Toi et Moi necklace. That means you and me in French. This necklace features a natural white sapphire beside a colorful heart-shaped gemstone on a sterling silver chain. It's $175 and it's one of our favorites. Whether you want to spend a little or you want to splurge, at Shane Company we have so many eye-catching styles with hearts. Or surprise your loved one with a gift that features the romantic colors of Valentine's Day, like our jewelry with natural, vibrant pink sapphires, red rubies, or purple amethyst. For more ideas, browse our Valentine's Day gift guide at shaneco.com. Shipping is fast and free. When they open your gift, it'll be love at first sight.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business.
Shane Company and Shaneco.com.
Every small business owner knows business happens everywhere. The office, the warehouse, or on the road. And no matter where it takes you, there's one solution to help your business thrive. Comcast Business Complete Connectivity. It's the largest, fastest, reliable network with advanced gig speed Wi-Fi and cyber threat protection in one solution. Plus, add Comcast Business Mobile and you can save up to 60% a year on your wireless bill. Get started for just $40 a month for 12 months with no annual contract when you add mobile. And ask how to get up to a $750 prepaid card.
Flight 291 is now boarding.
Yep, you're going places. And when you get there, be ready to do business. The complete connectivity solution from the company that powers more small businesses than any other provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/21/2023. Restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New 100 megabits per second internet and Comcast Business Security Edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Gig internet required for gig Wi-Fi. Mobile savings compares pricing of top 3 carriers.
Staples stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Matt Bear has a look at the roads.
Inbound 69 stopped at 116th Street, barely moving down to 82nd. Eastbound 465, also full house from Westfield Boulevard over to Allisonville Road. Eastbound 70 slow to downtown from Harding to Meridian, Illinois. Inbound 65 slow roll 21st Street to the north split and a crash at 38th. At Michigan Road, another one 86 at Keystone. Stay clear of Hannah at Shelby if you can. There was a plane crash to the southeast. Harrison Silcox with more coming up at 6:02 here on 93 WIBC. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Now get a $2,000 energy saving credit and federal tax credit at B Window. Plus sale prices on windows, siding, and doors with 22 months, no interest or payments. BWindow.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
42 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show. We have another hour of the show coming up, a complete update, everything you need to know about the weather system moving through central Indy. It's looking like it's going to be an interesting night and commute in the morning, Hammer.
When I heard this song come on, at first I was excited because I thought it was Jim Cantori of the Weather Channel reacting to thunder snow.
So more updates after 6 o'clock. Look, I mean, it's going to be a thing where if you don't have to get out tomorrow, don't.
Right.
I mean, stay off the roads. It's easier said than done. People have to get to work. But we'll talk to Matt Bear, obviously, and he'll get us through traffic and what we can expect tomorrow.
And if you're out and you see the plow trucks and the salt trucks, give them room to do their jobs.
Get the hell out of the way.
Right. We were talking during the commercial break, Nige, that your wife, the lovely Mrs. Nige,
yes,
big Chris Stapleton fan.
Huge. She would travel. We were trying to go to Nashville. I forget if it was last year or she was trying to buy tickets this year, and like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars to go see Chris Stapleton. Huge, mega superstar in country music, and he's got a great voice, man. I love the guy.
He is going to be singing the national anthem at the Super Bowl this year.
No kidding. Was that they just announced that?
That was announced earlier today. So Mr. Tennessee Whiskey, he's doing the national anthem and performing America the Beautiful. Naptown represent Babyface.
I don't see a whole lot of Babyface anymore. Is he still present and popular in the music industry?
I don't think he's putting out like new albums.
Is he producing?
I have no idea.
Babyface is singing not the national anthem.
America the Beautiful.
I'm sorry, America the Beautiful. Okay.
So he's a hit machine, though. Like if you go down the rabbit hole of hits from Babyface, man, it's one right after the other. So we got a little bit of everything going on for the Super Bowl. You've got Chris Stapleton doing the anthem. Babyface is doing America the Beautiful. And then the halftime show is Rihanna. So that is your entertainment lineup.
Come on, man. Give me some Foo Fighters. Give me some Metallica.
You're one of those guys that's never going to be happy.
Never going to be happy
until it's the Foo Fighters and a Molly Hatchet cover band.
Come on, I want some Godsmack up there at halftime.
Where's Pantera?
Yeah, exactly. Those guys are kind of back together in a roundabout way.
So that is coming up for the Super Bowl, but coming up after 6 o'clock again, we'll check in with Marcus Bailey, meteorologist for Wish TV. The countdown is on. Yep. The storm is on its way. We've got you covered right here at 93 WIBC.
$5.5%. Where can you get 5.5%